Alright, and we're live.
Hey, hey,
Alright,
hey.
we're live to the Dave's Had Enough Show, episode 21. We have some old guests and some new guests this time. Some people from last week and some of the original guests. How's it going, vvolflovv?
Hey, what's up, guys?
How's it going, video game lover?
Very nice. I'm doing very good.
Okay, and how's it going, David?
Oh, man, honestly, I've been real scared of Clown Feet. He's been making me real nervous.
Alright, yeah, pretty much, we're going to talk about this whole Assassin's Creed stuff that's going on, some other stuff that's been going on this week, like Drive Club was released, but we want to mainly talk, too, about this whole Assassin's Creed thing, because I guess Ubisoft responded, and they pretty much are denying it. They're saying that they did not make this game, the same resolutions to pretty much cater to the Xbox One, make it all fair, because it's pretty much this whole mess from what I gather from it is everybody's bitching like little schoolgirls, and now we're stuck with the same resolutions. We got a more powerful system that can't show its power because they pretty much want to make the Xbox One, the same, so everybody's happy and not bitching on blogs and, different forums. What do you think about this, David?
Okay, so we talked a little bit off air about it. At first, well, let me start off by saying it's not so much the P's or the numbers that I'm concerned with. It's the unknown. It's the what do they take out or leave out that we're missing out on for parity, right? Parity doesn't have to be resolution. I talked about this in my first YouTube video. To me, I'm more concerned about, what if for the Xbox guys, right? We all know live is better than PSN, right? So if they have all these NPCs that are supposed to be on screen, which it's kind of weird in the first place because how many NPCs can you put on a single screen in the first place? But let's say they do have shit tons of thousands that they're claiming. If they could really truly use the power of the cloud that Microsoft supposedly has, why don't they use that to their advantage to give Microsoft, the Xbox guys, a really good, lively city over the PSN guys? Because we all know PSN ain't can be able to handle something like that, right? So why don't they offload some of that stress onto the cloud servers? That's by not doing that. That's a form of parity, right? With the PS stuff, why can't they use? Are they taking out share play type scenarios? Are they taking that out? We don't know. So to me, it's not so much about the P's. It's more about the unknown. What are they going for? I call it flat, going for flat. But I'm not so concerned about 900p, 30 frames per second. To be honest with you, it's more I don't know. And then also, like I was telling you earlier, there's a lot of people that work there, a lot of guys that work their ass off and take time away from their family to build this game. And so a few suits up top say some shit to the world through Twitter, and we all jump on them for that. And now we're all jumping on the bandwagon of we're not going to buy the game because of 900p, 30 frames per second, and we're blaming it on Xbox, which is not totally fair because we don't know if it's Xbox's fault. And so, are we going to punish the guys that actually built the game, or are we punishing the suits? I don't know. I mean, who knows? What if the game comes out and it's amazing? It's a great game. It's the best-looking game we've seen. It's the first true next-gen game that's come out. And we're all sitting back complaining about it. We haven't even seen the damn thing yet. So right now, I'm honestly in the middle. I don't know. We can't not talk about it because you can't let them get away with parity because I think no matter what, that's wrong. And at the same time, I don't want to hurt the guys that built the game. So I don't know. I'm in the middle. I'm on the fence. vvolflovv, what do you think?
Okay, so I think, yeah, I agree with you totally about the developers too. I mean, we have to show them some respect too. I mean, but let's see in the game how good it is, and that's what it comes down to. If it's a great game, then give it credit. As far as the parity thing, I mean, it's a very small number. I think it's just the whole fact that they came out and kept changing their stories, really. I mean, that's annoying. And we all know that they're anonymous for that. So,
right.
Or not.
Well, are you PC?
Totally known for that.
Are you a PC gamer?
Not really. I mean, I have a decent pretty good gaming laptop. I just haven't been using it that much.
Because the PC guys have been getting shafted by Ubisoft for a while now. Apparently, I've been seeing a lot of guys talk about that, and so they're used to it. And Steve, before we get your opinion, Steve, I wanted to add this is kind of shameful to my fellow Sony guys, dude. Y'all been acting. All of a sudden, y'all took on this master race mentality with this parity thing. It started with the Watch Dogs, I think. And now everybody, all the Sony guys are like, oh, we're 1080p on everything, blah, blah, blah. Like, guys, first off, this system's $400, okay? You at some point, you're going to run into limitations, right? I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm really worried about Naughty Dog. I don't think Uncharted 4 is going to be able to come out 1080p 60 frames a second, and I don't fucking care. I just want Naughty Dog to put out the best game they could possibly put out. If that's going to be at 800p and 60 frames a second, there it is. I mean, I trust in Naughty Dog, and I trust in a lot of these devs to do right. So these Sony guys need to shut the hell up to a certain degree because I don't want people to start sacrificing gameplay for peas, honestly.
I cannot imagine their reaction if Uncharted 4 is 1080p. I mean, if Uncharted 4 is not 1080p...
I don't think his volume's working. Can you guys hear him?
I hear him.
Oh, shoot.
Really?
Yeah, say that again, Steve.
Okay, well, let me make sure my mic is on. Can you...
Yeah, we got you.
Drop out and then drop back in. That's gonna fix it.
Okay.
I'll send you an invite if you can't get back in.
So what were you saying, Wilflo?
I don't know. I guess I have been seeing a lot of people though. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are overreacting about it, and then a lot of people are just kind of trying to make a point and put it out there too.
Right. Like you're talking about like the hashtag that went what's the social networking term? It went the no parity PS4 or whatever. That to me that's wrong. That's the Sony fanboy master talk. That I don't the master race talk. I don't like that. It should have said no parity Ubisoft, not it should have been associated to PS4, right? I mean I know it was about the PS4 because everybody's used to the Xbox One getting 900p, but it just should have been the hashtag no parity, period. It didn't need to focus in on Sony or Microsoft. To me, it affects everybody equally. I mean, hell, look at the Wii U. They're getting trashed right now with quote-unquote parity.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, no, what I was saying was that imagine if Uncharted 4 is not 1080p and 60 frames per second, those Sony guys are going to really rage.
Well, but shame on them for that, dude, because they should trust in Naughty Dog. I mean, look at what The Last of Us was. I mean, come on, let the guys do what they want to do. I mean, you can't. I mean, I don't know. I'm not worried about it. I trust that Naughty Dog will put out a phenomenal game. And no matter what, guys, let's be realistic. I mean, I know this isn't one of the topics, but after The Last of Us, right, and with all the drama the generation took a huge turn, or the industry took a huge turn from PS3 to PS4 or X3, the 360 to Xbox One. All of a sudden, man, people just the gaming industry, the community's mentality really changed, and it's really negative, and everything's fueled by hate. It seems like, and with people like Crap Gamer and Next Gen.
God, Gamer.
I have a lot of respect for them. At the same time, I don't agree with how they go about doing things. I mean, I know they're getting views and they got a good show and all that, but at the same time, they're fueling the fire, they're fueling the hate, and that I don't agree with. So like with Naughty Dog, okay, they put out one of the best games I've ever played in my entire life, and I mean I started back on DOS with the original Wolfenstein, and that game blew me away. So for Naughty Dog to come out during a time where everybody's fueled by hate and we're consumed by numbers, 1080p, 60 frames per second. And they have to beat out The Last of Us, which is crazy. It's the very last Uncharted. I mean, they got a lot of pressure on them right now. It's a new console, So what I'm looking forward to is just a good game that continues the story, the feel of what Uncharted is. As long as they stay true to that, I'm happy, man. I'm not expecting it to beat out The Last of Us. I don't see how it could. It's not. They're two separate games. And the unfortunate thing, because everybody's fueled by hate, no matter what, the Xbox community, not the good guys, I'm talking about the fanboy side, the Xbox, those guys are going to attack it no matter what. And it's doomed.
Them and the Nintendo fanboys, they'll probably attack the game too as well.
And Sony guys, there'll be a lot of Sony casuals that have converted from 360 over to Xbox and go, oh, I switched to this. You know, if it doesn't hit the numbers, right? I don't know. I'm kind of worried for Naughty Dog in that sense.
Yo, I'm gonna drop in and out.
But see, this generation, you know, is a lot different from last generation, where resolution wasn't even an issue. We weren't worried about if the game was going to be 900p, 1080p, 600p. It didn't matter. You got the game and you were happy. Now it's all about frame rates and resolution. That's all anybody cares.
Why do you think that is? What changed? I mean, I know it has to do with the PC guys.
Pushed with. That's what the PS4 was like. They showed us. They're like, okay, it's gonna be it's gonna be able to do 1080p, and that's all anybody cared about. That's all they ever talked about.
So Sony's the one that started that. I mean, who put it in our heads?
Sony's the one that started it because they came on stage and said came out with all this shit when they announced this.
I don't remember. I don't recall that. And if that's the case, then so be it. I mean, but in Sony's defense, they've been doing a pretty good job of maintaining the 1080p. So if that's the case, and Sony's the one that's been boasting about it, then who are we, me being a Sony guy, to attack the Xbox community for their games not doing it? If Microsoft never said they were supposed to do 1080p, then who are we to complain about it? I'm just asking. I'm throwing it out there.
Sony, now you see like sites like IGN and GameSpot. They never used to talk about fanboy news, like them fighting and all this shit. Now they're in on it too. You see them right away. They run with the newest news about this. You never used to see that. The only thing you'd see from fucking IGN or GameSpot was a game review, or they were telling you about an upcoming game. It was never about frame rate resolution, or they.
You're right about the frame rate and resolution, but they did have console war talk. That's always been around.
It's a lot more popular now on there. They're egging it on too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now it's very popular.
Yeah.
But what made it popular though is I know the PC guys had a lot to do with at least the Sony guys jumping on the 1080p bandwagon, because it was one. Let's be honest. I mean, there's always going to be console wars or team wars like Cowboys versus Redskins or Ford versus Chevy. That's always going to be around because that's part of the fun. Let's be honest. That's part of the fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's on a whole other level in gaming though.
Right, but what made it do that though? What made us look to the technology and say, hey, 1080p is the standard? I don't remember. I can't recall one thing that made it happen.
That these consoles are like computers now. A lot of these console gamers, they're wanting, what computers are doing now. They want, the graphics that they're doing, and really, a computer fucking, PC, and resolution stuff can really just dominate these consoles. These things don't even really stand next to a high-end PC. They say these things, the PS4 and the Xbox One is like a mid-grade PC. Some people are saying that it's tapped out already. I'm not mentioning his name, trying not to bring him up, but I've seen him in videos come out and say that Drive Club is tapping out the PC. And one thing, I might have messed up on that. It might have not been E3 when they said it, but I've heard Sony come out and boost this whole 1080p bullshit.
Oh yeah,
I'm not denying that.
Done it many a time. They're taking their advantage big time, and they're when they came out, they're like $400. You heard that forever, and then all of a sudden went to the frame rate. Now that for a second there, I thought maybe Xbox One was going to actually have the same resolution, which it does because these developers now are just giving it the same resolution. But I've been seeing a lot more now Xbox games at 1080p, 60 frames per second. Destiny, I think Wolfenstein was right.
Yeah, right. But at the same time, the games that are doing that, let's be fair, right? I gotta be fair to my Sony followers, right? To be fair, the games that are being made to work on both at 1080p are last-gen games. They're not next-gen only. Like if Evolve comes out 1080p, 30 frames a second on both consoles, that's hooray, right? But Wolfenstein, give credit to the engine on that one. You got to first understand how amazing that engine is. But it's also made for the older consoles. Destiny, the parity on that game, we already know that game had parity, and I have some Xbox friends of mine, and Antonio, shout out. He said nobody screamed about that being parity. But I think he's right in the sense that it didn't go mainstream. But dude, I was ranting and raving about that game being parity 1080p 30 frames a second because there's no reason why that game couldn't have run 1080p 60 frames a second on Sony's side. You know, like there's no if Sony's console actually is more powerful than the Xbox One, no game should ever run the same on both consoles if there's no parity involved. It should always be a little better on the PlayStation, right? Just like on the Xbox, it should have better online services than over PSN, over PlayStation, right? There's always to be a difference.
The Kinect bullshit, pretty much, isn't that all the stuff that, like all the multitasking that the Xbox One does? Isn't this why they can't achieve all these frame rates? Because it's doing
they're running three. You're gonna catch me sounding stupid. I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna attempt it. But the reason why they can do snap and all that is because of the way they made the ERAM, ETHRAM, and which is great. Like I think it's a cool concept. For instance, another thing that parity did negatively for Xbox. Take Destiny for instance. The companion app for Destiny is really cool with the Gilmore cards and stuff. I think the reason why they have Gilmore cards is bullshit in the first place because they took it out of the game, but that's neither here nor there. But if they weren't going for parity on Destiny, think about this. The Xbox One guys could be playing Destiny, and then they unlock a Gilmore card at the bottom of the screen, and then you snap it over to an in-app, right? You could pull up the app that we would have on our mobile phone on the Xbox One so they could check their Gilmore card status live on snapping it. And see, the PlayStation 4 can never do that because we can't do the snap feature. So that would have been really cool for the Xbox guys that the PlayStation guys would have never had. But they went for parity and took all that kind of stuff out of it. They're not optimizing per console strengths, right? No, I was very mad about the Destiny being 1080p 30 frames a second on both consoles, mainly because I knew that they didn't optimize, right? And that game, first of all, how can you have a game that's going to be for next 10 years, right? They're supposed to support it for the next 10 years, and they made it primarily for 360 and PS3. It's a dying system. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Goddamn Bungie. Anyway, sorry, I went off on a rant again.
And that game sort of got.
Do what?
I think that game is now irrelevant right now. I think, or. Yeah. I know it's really dying, so I don't even think they're going to support for 10 years.
No, they don't have the user base, and it's not going to be supported for 10 years. I don't see. They're trying to do that. See, that could work well on PCs, this whole World of Warcraft attempt, but it's not going to work well with consoles. And the game ain't, and to be honest with you, I don't think the game is as stunning as a lot of people say of visuals. It looks good, don't get me wrong, but it's not nothing that they would have to upgrade, graphics, wouldn't you say, and stuff? Not so much the graphics, but they would have to upgrade shit as time goes on. Am I right or wrong?
So in my opinion, we talked about this a little bit last podcast. They have a small window to gain their customer base back, which I know a lot of guys have already traded. My brother traded it back in. My uncle traded it back in. A lot of people I know have traded it back in. They already lost. I think they already lost, man, because when these true next-gen games come out, like Evolve, like that game, I have a feeling that game's going to be a lot of fun. The Division, if Ubisoft doesn't screw that game up. You got Dragon Age coming out. I mean, all these true next-gen titles are coming out, and everybody's going to forget about Destiny, dude. So they'd have to do some kind of elaborate patch.
I don't even really hear about Destiny like I was. I hear about it, but not like you were. It's already kind of made now. And this is what this generation does. A game's coming out. They make 1 million videos about it. The game actually hits. It's out, and then you see a couple videos that week, and then it's gone. And they're on to the next.
Yeah, I know. A game that's very hyped up, and then the hype just completely dies.
But this whole Assassin's Creed Unity parody thing, I guess the devs actually came back and denied everything. They said, they've worked on this game for 4 years. Why would they do that? I think they're full of shit. I think they got a backlash from people. They don't like what people are saying. I'm sure things are going to change over the weeks to come. When is Assassin's Creed coming out? Isn't it very soon?
November 18th, I think. And the proof, here's the proof, man. Look at EA, and even the Xbox guys know this, dude. EA is in bed with Microsoft, right? And they came out and they said parity. right off the bat. It was going to be 900p, 30 frames a second, and I swear to God, it was like 3 hours later. Oh, sorry, we made a mistake. It's 1080p on PlayStation 4 and 900p on Xbox One. That just happened. I think it was earlier today.
Yeah.
So if that game's going to, I mean, I've never played those games, but from what I can gather, that game is huge, big-ass RPG with all kinds of really cool content. It's just loaded with content. If that game's doing 1080p, 30 frames a second, come on, man. Assassin's Creed game, you know how Assassin's Creed games are. Dave, you and I have played all of them, and you and I both love, shamefully, we both love them all. Yeah, what's up?
They did say, though, that they are basically rebuilding the whole system on an entire new level of how everything reacts.
That's what they told us, right?
Like, we're actually going on about. I mean, yeah, it was another thing that you can't take 100% serious because it is Ubisoft.
Right.
The thing is, and that's the thing is, it comes down to me, I would rather wait a little bit longer to get a bit better game and let them use those resources just to make, because I'd rather wait, instead of rushing the games and keep coming out every year, just wait a little bit longer and make the games a little bit better and take your time. Don't rush them.
Right.
And that's my whole thing.
See, and this is a good segue if y'all want to get off this parody thing, or we can come back to it or whatever, or we can just touch on what I'm about to say. But that's what makes me so upset about Drive Club. Man, I get called a fanboy every day, several times a day on Google+, and it at first used to make me laugh, and now it makes me mad because that's not what I am. And dude, this Drive Club really made me mad. And mad's a strong word, right? Like, this is all gaming, it's all entertainment. I don't really truly get mad about any of this stuff, but you know what I mean. It's a figure of speech. So they delayed the game for 11 months. They delayed the order. Then all the multiplats, Evolve got delayed. Everything's been getting delayed. And not one time have I been upset about any of it, because I want them to put out a quality game. I did not want to get screwed like I did with Battlefield 4. I did not want that to happen, and I think the industry learned from it, and they didn't want to duplicate that, right? So I've never been upset about it. And you're right, 100%, dude. If Ubisoft needs more time, Suits, let your team have more time with it. You know, utilize the Xbox One's strengths, utilize the PS4's strengths, right? I mean, come on, give them more time. Don't do what Drive Club has done, and don't do what Battlefield 4 did. You know, and like, I don't know, I'm content, man. That you got Far Cry 4 coming out, which is Ubisoft, so it is what it is. But that game will hold them over, you know, for a while. We don't need to have two Ubisoft games in the same month. And you got The Crew coming out, so that's 3 Ubisoft games right there. And The Crew, from what I can gather, that game looks horrendous. So, you know,
I think they went back to the drawing board on The Crew.
Yeah, to December. That's not that big of a difference.
Yeah, pretty much, I'm trying to think of one other thing. Oh, another thing about Ubisoft. Ubisoft better be really careful, because they're not only, now they're going after PS4 owners and Xbox One owners. Not going after them, but kind of fucking with them. They already have fucked with the Nintendo fans pretty much with the whole Watch Dogs. That's the last M-rated game that they're going to do.
Yeah, that was pretty damn fucked up what they did.
May I ask a question, since I respect Nintendo, but can I just throw this out there? I'm probably going to get all kinds of hate mail for this. How the hell is it a dev's fault that Nintendo is like Apple in the sense that they're so proprietary on everything they do? You can't even show their videos on something like this, and they built a console that can't handle anything. How is that their fault? I don't. How is that the dev's fault that Nintendo screws up in my eyes? Like, how, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand why these fans are getting mad at Ubisoft for not putting. You know what I'm saying?
They have a distinct market too. And,
they what?
They have a distinct market. So Nintendo does things their way. That's just always how it's been.
Yeah, but that's because they don't.
They're not going to comply. Well, right. In a way, you kind of need that too, though. In a way, I mean, somebody has to do something different. To some
Which
degree.
is fine, but you can't. At the same time, you can't get mad at people. You can't get mad at Ubisoft for not putting a mature game that's running at these newer levels. These new.
That reminds me when the Nintendo fanboys attacked Ed Boon about the whole Mortal Kombat 10 fiasco that's not coming to the Wii U. That still makes me laugh.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, how is that the devs' fault that the console is just, a little stronger than the 360 PS3? I don't understand. How is that? Why should us PS4 Xbox guys have to suffer for the lack of hardware in the Wii U? Unless I'm mistaken, the Wii U is really powerful. I just don't know that. I mean,
yeah.
I'm just asking a question.
Miami Storms got shout out to Miami Storms, and I appreciate all the support lately, buddy. He asked, I just want to know why they said 30 frames is better in third person because Last of Us is better played in 60 frames per second.
Ooh, I want to talk about that. Does anybody else want to go first?
No, I'm good.
Do what?
Take it away.
All right, cool. Okay, so there's been a few devs that come out and talked about that. The Naughty Dog talked about it, and I'll go in the order, the folks that did the order. And I believe Infamous Second Son. So a lot of Sony guys have said that. So there could be some sketchiness there, first and foremost. But with Naughty Dog, they've never steered me wrong or the fans that I can think of. I mean, there might be a few things here and there that are smaller. Nothing on the Ubisoft level or EA level or anything like that. So they've always been pretty true to their word. When I thought it was really cool what they did with The Last of Us Remastered. And unfortunately, I've been a bad fanboy, right? I have not purchased the Remastered edition yet. I told everybody from the get-go that game is worth $100 out of the gate, and I would spend $100 on that game new. Unfortunately, I've been in a bad situation, and I have not had the funds to do so. And for that, I apologize. However, I'm hearing that game is great in 60 frames per second, but they had, and this is what they said. This is what Naughty Dog said on video, that they had internal conflict as to what the game played better in. Some guys internally said they loved it on 30 frames because it would sacrifice gameplay, but it made it have more of a cinematic feel to it. And then some guys loved the 60 frames for the gameplay over losing some of the cinematic. So in that statement alone, I feel like there is some truth to it because they said the same thing. It was either you're going to have more of a cinematic look and lose some gameplay functionality, or you're going to have more gameplay functionality and lose some of the cinematic look. And there were some videos that came out showing the two, and then the game came out and they said, you know what, screw it, you can have it your way, you decide. And that's really cool, and that's what I was excited about doing on that particular game, was playing it on both 30 frames and 60, because I wanted to see the difference. So I have not seen it in person, but there's got to be some truth to it. And so if somebody has or does have that game and has played it on 30 and 60 frames, their input's going to be more relevant because they've actually seen it. So if that's a true statement and that 30 frames is better for a cinematic feel and or look, is that true when you played The Last of Us? Because I have not experienced it, and if you have, then you should know.
Now I feel ashamed for not playing the remaster yet. Maybe I'll have to pick that up.
We're a terrible group.
Well, man, let me know shit carried over. Dave, you're the guy. You're the guy to talk about this.
Dave, have you done that?
What?
What I just said.
I bought The Last of Us Remastered. I got it.
But have you played it on 30 frames and 60 frames?
Yes, I have a video up that does that.
Okay, so what's your input on that? What is it a real thing? Is it a real concern?
There's a big difference from the 30 frames to 60 frames. It's like playing a whole new game. It's just the game is so much smoother. It's like it's on speed kind of, and it just goes a lot more better. Now I'm talking about I've done it with the multiplayer. I didn't do it with the campaign. I've done it with the multiplayer. It makes the multiplayer like night and day.
Could you tell, from doing it on multiplayer?
Video up showing you the difference. You can tell a big difference, and it's.
No, I'm saying from a cinematic standpoint, though.
Yeah, the cinematics.
From a cinematic standpoint, though, because I mean, multiplayer is not really going to give you a good judgment, but I mean, could you see?
I'm just saying, all around, it's a 10 times better experience. It's like a new game. That's how good it is, and I'm not just saying that to be a fan of The Last of Us. It's just
right. No, I understand, but you're saying it's bullshit. Then that 30 frames is not the way to go. It's always 60, no matter what.
I'll tell you too. When I was playing when you play games at 60 frames per second, like The Last of Us, it makes you not want to play games at 30 frames.
What?
Yeah.
I guess. What would you say is it because your character can go from point A to point
It
B
just looks like
easier.
it's running so much smoother. It's not choppy or nothing. It's very smooth. It's the best way to explain it. And it's like when I locked it at 30 frames, because they give you the option to lock it on The Last of Us. It's like slowed down. It feels very, to me, choppy. I don't like it. It feels like you'll see if you ever play the remastered version and you lock it at 30 frames. I tested it. I just want to see what it looked like, and I did a video of it. And at that time, I was experiencing a lot of weird lag. It was around the time PSN got hacked and all that stuff, but you can see the difference from the 30 frames, 60 frames.
I never get hacked. It was attacked.
Until I played that. Now resolution don't matter to me, but I love games at 60 frames per second.
Well, you say resolution doesn't matter, but that's not. I mean, if you
as long as it's not, if it's 720p, I'm fine. I don't want nothing lower than that.
Have you seen? I mean, there's a pretty big difference between, and there's a difference in immersion as well. Like the way I would describe it is, like take The Last of Us for instance. If you're playing the game on last gen compared to new gen, I've seen it in person. I haven't bought it. There's a pretty big difference between 720p and 1080p. I mean, you can see the subtle differences in things better. So it like. I don't feel like getting into it, but to me, 1080p is. I would like to have it. It's not a must, but it does help with gameplay and enjoyment of the game. It really does. I mean, if it didn't, then why would we push for it?
That's a huge jump from 720, man. It's a totally different experience. I mean,
if you're
the true form of it, you can truly see the art for what it is.
So here's a good example. Like if you were to play Sniper Elite 3 on a 720p monitor, right? That game online was really neat. It was really innovative, actually. I liked it. I'm surprised nobody talked about it. But it's strictly a camping thing. But you're looking around, right? And the people are so far away and small. Dude, if that was 720p, it's going to make it a whole lot harder to find that sniper over there as opposed to 1080p because you're going to be able to have a longer draw distance and it's more clear. So it does change the gameplay. So that's why I would prefer 1080p, but it's not 900p to 1080p, whatever. That's neither here or there. But that's I wouldn't never say it doesn't matter, but to me anyway. So,
well, of course it matters. I mean, why else would you have bought the next gen console? I mean,
right, or go from DVD to Blu-ray, right? I mean, there's a difference.
Yeah.
That was a good question. I like that question because so basically what we're hearing is it's bullshit and it's limitations of the console. And Sony's the one that's really the Sony guys are the ones that have been really talking about 30 frames per second. I mean, I know multiplats are doing it. I know all the Xbox stuff is staying at 30 frames other than Forza, but that's got to. If you're saying it's so much better at 60 frames, then it's got to be. Limitations of the hardware is why all these games are coming out at 30 frames a second. So, and
sorry, I apologize to any Xbox fans. I'm not sure. Like, I'll give that game all the credit it deserves, though. But I'm not sure if Forza Horizon is 60 or 30.
I think it's 30. I think it's 30.
See, and that's still a great game, apparently. So.
And Drive Club is 30, and I have not experienced a single hiccup in that game.
And then let's move to our next topic. How is Drive Club? You were actually somebody who played it.
Man, I'm level 17 now, and first and foremost, man, I was upset by the whole thing. Like I said earlier, I'm not next gen. I don't have $12,000 in a stack. So. We have a new child on the way. We're building an extension on the house. I'm just really low on funds right now, especially for play money. So I was really excited about the damn PS Plus version, and they delayed it for 11 months, which I was like, kudos to Sony for postponing that bitch for 11 months. That's awesome. Put time into the game. Just for it to come out and crash. Like, yo, you can't boast about a game that's all about online and not have online like that. You can't be 10 million strong and talk about how you're the #1 console and piss on fathead Phil Spencer. Like you can't do all the things Sony's been doing and then not work on the premier PS Plus game. You cannot do that. At a certain level, they're going to start having customers drop like flies, like I'm already starting to see a lot of guys trade their shit in. And at a certain, I mean, to me, it's kind of silly. It's like you're going to just wait, right? 2015, Sony's got some great games coming out, you know, so I think it's kind of silly and premature to trade your system in. But at the same time, I kind of understand it. It's like, man, we've been giving them money now for PS Plus for a while. I mean, I know it's well worth it, and you get your money back. Hell, I got my money back on Resogun, Outlast, and Striker alone. But, you know, like, at a certain point, it's like, okay, dude, you can only have these issues for so long, you know.
Let me ask you one thing about Drive Club. How do you find the challenge and the AI? And
okay, I'll get there. I race in real life. Hold on.
Does it take away from the challenge because, or do you think it's too hard, or it's like, what do you think about the whole AI?
Well, let me say this. Let me say this first. Whoever's idea it was to say it was a Forza killer should be fired. You have one job. You have one job. Do what?
Well, let's get to the actual game.
Right. Okay. So it's not a Forza killer. First and foremost, just understand that. Whoever said that's a fucking moron. The AI is. It's been a while since I played a racing game. I see they do tend to hit you, right? It's no different than what's that Need for Speed game that just came out recently or a while back at launch. It's no different than it's no different than that. I noticed that they try to maintain the race line, and so the best way to combat that is to go on the outside. It makes it a little bit more challenging as to race because you have to take the outside line, which is really hard to do in real life. So to me, it's just a challenge. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's not Gran Turismo, right? It's not Forza 5, but it's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to take it that serious. And I think what happened was that game was overhyped too much. So partially because of the media, partially because of the fans, partially because of Sony. The game itself is beautiful. It's got great graphics. I will say that it's a little weird because it's like they have a film. You know, like when you were in school back in the day, they had the projectors where you'd have that clear piece of paper and they'd write on it and they would post it up on the board, right? The projector.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they had one of those and it's slightly dirty over the game. Like, I can't describe it until if you haven't played it yet, then you won't understand. But if you played it, you'll know what I mean. The game is beautiful, but it's like there's slight. I don't even know how to describe it. It's weird. Like the game's got this kind of flaw to it that I don't quite get. But with that aside, man, it's got the best show of speed that I can remember playing. It's got this really cool feature, or not feature, but whenever you hit something, your character, I always race from inside the car, and his head will move. So your vision is moving as if your head's bouncing around in a collision or something. So that part's really cool. It really adds to like you pretending you're actually driving the car, right? The maps are some of the best racing maps I've ever played in. They're fantastic. The gameplay is perfect mix between arcade, Cruising USA without all the wackiness, and it's got enough realism to it that each car has its own designated feel. The sound is really good. They made it sound like it was going to be the best sounding racing game ever and/or game of all time. I wouldn't go that far. They dropped the ball on that, but it is really, really good. It blows Gran Turismo out of the water as far as sound. It lacks a lot of things. I mean, you know, you can't. They had this social experience game come out that's supposed to be like Destiny, right? Like Destiny. What saved Destiny for me, what made me so hyped about it, was I had so much fun playing with guys like you. We would get on there, we'd talk like this while playing a game that had great gameplay. That's what Destiny was. Destiny has great gunplay. Nobody will deny that. And this game is the same way. It's got great gameplay. The cars feel great. I see a lot of people complaining that the cars are hard to turn. Well, that's because it's called understeer. Okay, learn how to drive the car, and it doesn't have understeer, right? So, you know, to me, the gameplay on that game is awesome. But I can't even experience the goddamn online because they don't have the servers working. I don't know if that's. We don't know whose servers that's supposed to go on. Is that Sony or is that Evolution?
Online does not work for Drive Club?
Evolution.
At all. It's hit or miss right now. Right now they've got it hit or miss. So I was able to start the club, but as I started creating the logo, it kicked me out. So it's a hit or miss right now, and we're already 3-4 days into it, and I still can't play online. Like, come on, man, they dropped the ball so hard with that, and It makes me mad. Trust me, if you're a race guy, if you like racing games, if you can play Forza 5, Gran Turismo 6, and you can also enjoy Need for Speed, this game, you'll love it, without a shadow of a doubt. Now, if you are a sim only, you'll probably hate it. If you are arcade only, you might hate it because it's got some sim characteristics that might aggravate you, like understeer. Well, that's not in Need for Speed. So I'm really enjoying it. The fact that they don't have American cars, like, what the fuck, man? Come on, seriously, Evolution. I mean, no Japanese cars. I can't run my Skylines. I mean, are you serious? So there's a lot about it that make me mad, and unfortunately, we don't have a game like Forza, and I'm stuck with this. Forza, dude, that game looks amazing. Like both of them, honestly. Like. Hopefully, Project Cars will fill my void, but kudos to Microsoft, man. They have a great racer. And Gran Turismo, guys, if you're listening, motherfucker, add better mods that make more sense. Add damage. Damage. Gran Turismo, if you do not add damage, I will I swear to God, they better add damage.
There's no damage in the game. Like, what's the damage in the? Is there
they've already shown it. It's like have you played Need for Speed, the most recent one? Okay, it is like that, but not as much.
Okay.
Yeah, but so it's not as lame as Gran Turismo, where you're at 100 miles an hour and you bump into somebody and it's like boom, and your car just bounces off. I mean, it actually has really good crash sounds. It does have good sounds, and it has good effects. And so basically you'll see some bending in the metal and carbon fiber and some tearing, and you'll see some scratches, but that's about it.
Okay. Oh, and then to go with the Drive Club, pretty much Drive Club PS Plus Edition won't be released. Director addresses bugs and upcoming update, so they're going to hold off on the whole Drive Club PS Plus Edition.
That dude, see that really makes me mad because I got the game because I wanted to play with folks like you online, and that would mean that everybody had it. It's like, hey, I could say, hey, vvolflovv, do you want to go play Drive Club? And you're like, yeah, but I only had the PS Plus edition. Okay, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody would have had it, so at least we'd have something in common, and we all could have played it. But now there's gonna be so many people that wrote it off that, dude, they missed the mark, and it makes me mad. Like, you can't delay for 11 months and completely miss it like that. It's like, how do you not know what your servers can handle by now? Come on.
Man, I'm not even playing my PS4.
Really?
But I'm playing my PS3. I will play it.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
PS3 still.
That's crazy.
I think the PS4 now is at a point to where it's got games. For a while there, we didn't have nothing. Now it's got Shadow of Mordor, Drive Club, Evil Within's going to be out Tuesday. You got this month and next month, you got nothing but games coming out. And you're going to have Far Cry 4 soon. You're going to have the Grand Theft Auto. Even though it's a remastered, you're still going to have 30 people online. It's going to be awesome. So there's games. I mean, you got Last of Us Remastered.
I hear a really good friend of mine works. He's the regional manager at GameStop, and he actually got to go to the special event that was before the GameStop public event, and he actually got his hands on it, and he said, and I quote, that Grand Theft Auto 5 is the best true next-gen experience he played. And he played.
Funny, like, these games that are, you want to be honest, like, these true next-gen experiences that I'm experiencing on my PS4, The Last of Us Remastered is like the first game I can honestly say it's mind-blowing graphic-wise, but why is it taking a last-generation game to do that?
Oh,
it's
the first year.
The architecture better.
I
think they know the architecture. It takes them a long time to really get up to where they're gonna get this generation. So it's pretty good for what it is. Look at Infamous. I mean, lots of games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I mean, this has been a great first year to me. I mean, there was a couple months where I was only playing Killzone with my boy Ryan, and that's all we really did because there wasn't much else out. But you know, it is what it is.
This is the first year. That was a launch game, and look what it looked like.
Yeah, dude.
The launch game last gen.
Killzone is a phenomenal game, and people that bash on that haven't played it or they don't understand what that was. To me, Killzone and Infamous are a show of power. It's basically just showing you what's to come. And don't, you know, I'm not. It's not supposed to be game of the year or anything. It's just, it's a great game to show off what the new generation is going to have in store for you. And I do what?
Many past generations do that too.
Yeah, I mean,
Past generations.
it's no Halo 2 or anything, but it's a great game, and the online is masterful. I mean, no aim assist, and it's beautiful. Like I love that game.
That co-op of you know, the Killzone, is that a whole new campaign, or what is it?
Yeah, I hear it's really good. Unfortunately I did not play it because by the time I got around to getting it for me and my buddy Ryan to play, Destiny came out and we started playing that, so it kind of got left in the dust. I'll probably go back to it eventually. I can't see myself spending $20 on it though. Although I feel like I probably should, because they gave us free content, free DLC for months after that thing released for no cost, and kept patching it and upgrading it, and it was really cool. So I feel like I do owe to get. They deserve the $20 for the co-op. I hear it's really good, so I need to give it a shot.
Are any of you picking up Sleeping Dogs Definitive Version? That's
I'm on the fence. Actually, you know what? I think I really want that game.
There's
That's what I was
people
gonna
streaming it now on PlayStation Live. I guess they already got it. Is it coming out Tuesday?
Yeah.
That's one. I love that game. That game was so freaking cool. But
Was it
at
like
the same
Grand
time,
Theft Auto, or what was it like?
it's more like it's kind of like Shadow of Mordor in a way. The combat's more take Grand Theft Auto, but make it more arcadey. It's kind of like Batman in the sense of combat, but it's not as arcadey feeling as Batman to me. Like I can't stand
How is
Batman.
the driving in it?
I don't
Check
remember.
it out.
I don't remember.
Check it out. It's got a lot of cool shit you can do in it.
If you haven't played it, it's totally worth it. It's a fucking awesome game, and the storyline
Some
is
people
awesome.
compare it to Just Cause, how you can jump in and out of the cars.
It's better.
You can do-
I remember it being
Yeah.
better than that, as far as like it wasn't as clunky feeling as that game.
Okay.
To me. Yeah, Will.
There's like
Same
cool
with-
car chases and shit like that too.
It's what?
Okay.
Definitely check that out. I think I might get that one.
Yeah, if you haven't played it, it's freaking worth it, man. It's a great game. I bought it last gen, and I don't want to buy it again.
And I see people got it streaming now on PlayStation Live on Twitch. So I assume it's I know it's coming out this month, so I'm assuming it's coming out Tuesday with Evil Within.
Right.
I think it's, what is it? It's priced at $53. So I noticed one good thing. I think it's 53. I'm not 100% sure. Might be 50. I might be getting that mixed up with Evil Within Digital. But what I do like about these remasters, they are giving us really good deals. Like with
That's not a
Metro
good deal.
got it for 50
That's not a good
bucks.
deal.
Same thing with Last of Us. You get all that DLC for 50 bucks. So they are doing something right with the remastered. You know.
It's whether you want to support it or not. If you want to
I don't-
support it, support it.
I don't feel like it's worth. I don't think that's a good deal. I mean, look, that game brand new on Steam is going to be like 20 bucks probably. To me, consoles need to start competing with PC. With all this
That's
drama
my point.
talk with 1080p and stuff, like people start converting to PC eventually. I mean, the cost savings are unreal with the games. So no, I do not agree that it's okay. I think The Last of Us should have been, for me, I bought that bitch digitally on PS3. That should have been a fucking $10 upgrade, okay? Like, I'm sorry, that's bullshit. Any game that's getting remastered needs to be at least $30. I mean, you cannot ask retail pricing for those games. I'm sorry, that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Yeah, buy it on Steam for 20 bucks.
Do what?
Buy it on Steam for 20 bucks.
That's what I'm
bet.
saying. It's $53 is not a good deal at all.
Yeah.
Not to me anyway. That's bullshit. That's why I'm not buying it, because it's not. They need to. That's not right. To me, it's not right, but it's just not right.
Dave, you should go PC because you're a digital guy.
No,
You
well,
can
so
get physical.
I'm PC
That.
stupid, dude. The only reason why I'm not PC is because I'm PC stupid. The computer I'm using right now is my work computer, and this thing crashes just using Excel. So I have the worst luck. I had 4 PS3s break.
You gave up on it.
I had two 360s break. I am the world's worst when it comes to computers of any sort. So no, I will not buy a PC.
I'm not very good at PCs either.
Yeah, I can't. I'm too simple-minded for PC.
It is good shit to learn though at the same time. It is definitely worth gaining some knowledge about.
If I had the confidence in myself and the know-how, I would game on PC for everything multi-plat, and then I'd have a PS4 for the exclusives, and that's how I would do it. But I can't. No, I can't. I need that simplicity. So
And
maybe
I've seen people. Another thing too, I've seen people already streaming The Evil Within. I mean, I wish I was these people I could get these games this early. I mean, they got Sleeping Dogs and Evil Within already. But I heard like some people say that some of these like mom and pop stores that sell these games early want like $80, $100 for these games. Would you pay that for a couple days early? I'd want it like 2 weeks early if I'm even gonna pay $80.
If I was doing game reviews on YouTube and I had my subs wanted that kind of content, I would do it for them, but I wouldn't do it for myself.
Okay. And one more thing to touch on about that Drive Club and the whole PlayStation Plus getting kind of shit on. We're not going to get it right away. I don't think it's right because I remember, I'm almost 100% sure I remember at E3 they came out and said they were going to give us, you know, that was a big thing. They were saying, oh, Drive Club's going to be with the PlayStation Plus owners, you know, blah, 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 blah. I think we should have got that. I think we're getting screwed over, and I eventually wouldn't be surprised if they don't even give it to us.
No,
you know,
they'll give it to
us. They'll be well forgotten. You know what I'm saying?
They'll give it once they start selling them.
Yeah. So I don't agree with that at all.
So the fanboy in me, right? I don't want to say that Sony. I made a joke about it as soon as it didn't work. When I couldn't, I stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning the night of to download it, dumbass. And I said then that Sony's just pulling a fast one on us to make a quick buck because the guys like me who are getting fed up are just about to buy it. And so I want to hope that Sony wouldn't do that. That's something that I would see Microsoft doing. But maybe they did. You know. Yeah, I have it. I didn't buy it. My buddy Ryan. What's up, Ryan? He wanted to play with me. He was like, dude, I thought we were going to be playing together. I was like, yeah, I can't afford it right now. So he bought it for me, and then he didn't realize that the online wasn't working, so he bought it for me for no reason. But
we had the demo of Forza 2.
Do what?
The Horizon 2 demo came out before the initial game came out.
Yeah, well, whatever happened to that? Like, when are these developers going to learn that demos actually sell games? I know they're scared that, you know, you put a game out like Infamous, right? Like some guy like me would have really benefited from the demo because I would have known right away that's not a game for me because I didn't like it. But, you know, I guess that's what scares them away is that they don't want to lose sales. They'd rather people just buy it blindly. But people need to – that would also get people to buy the game too. Like I think when a lot of people get their hands on the free version of Drive Club, a lot of people are going to buy it because it is cool. It is fun. But whatever happened to demos, dude? There's like, what, 6 on PS4? Like, that's bullshit. I know Microsoft is getting quite a bit of demos, more so than we are. I mean, I know a lot of them are EA, but still, like, we need more demos.
One thing I do want to talk, I was hoping Old Dirty'd be in the podcast when I talked about this because he got to play it too. I got to play the Bayonetta 2 demo for Wii U. I have to honestly say that game is great, and all you Nintendo fans that don't go out and get that game and say third party shits on you all the time. If you don't go pick that game up, there's something fucking wrong with you, and you shouldn't be able to get third party if you don't go out and get that game. It's amazing. The girl's hair turns into a fucking dragon. It's almost like this game's gonna be like a bunch of boss fights, but it's like Devil May Cry on fucking steroids. Like it's cool. Like
it runs smooth for what I played on the demo.
And it totally changed my mind. You're getting 2 games for $60, the original Bayonetta and the second one. I never heard about Bayonetta until this whole Nintendo exclusive thing came about, but the game's great. I'm gonna go more into it whenever we have more. Did you play it, Video Game Lover?
No, because I don't own the 360.
No, but did you play the Bayonetta demo for the Wii U?
Oh yeah, I did. And
did you like it?
Yeah.
What'd you think about it?
It runs smooth for what I played, but we'll have to see how the entire game is. But yeah, it seems fun.
You said you have a 360, that's it?
No, I'm mostly a retro-y guy. I'm an old school guy.
Oh wow.
You're
Okay.
probably the youngest on here.
So
Yeah.
you-
Shout out to Justin Wheeler. Thank you for watching the podcast at work today, buddy. I appreciate it. Be on PS4 tonight. Just want to put that out there. Do you have any other do you have any topics, David? Other ones besides? I just wanted to put the Bayonetta thing out there because I finally got I was hearing so much shit about this game from this whole how long have they announced Bayonetta for? It's been about a couple years now, right?
Yeah.
So I just was amazed to play a demo and actually see this game in action. It's actually good. So I just want to put that out there. But if anybody else, that's all the topics I got right now. Anybody else got any topics?
Yeah, I
Right
got
on.
some. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me,
Cool.
I got some people
Yeah.
talking to me.
Always
Hold on.
keep going, man.
I'll see you later. All right.
Take care, man.
See you,
All right,
man.
man. See you. Thanks for
Check
joining.
that guy's channel. He's awesome.
All right.
Hey,
So
David, are you able to play Drive Club online yet?
no.
No.
Well,
No,
I haven't
okay.
checked. I haven't tried today. It might be up today. I haven't tried. So
What's your name, man?
what?
The guy joined in.
He's a Google Plus
Oh,
buddy.
that's Popcorn. He's from our group, man.
Okay. Who is it?
Wild Horse?
Okay, Wild Horse. How's it going, buddy? I appreciate
Good, how are
you
you?
joining the podcast.
All right.
He
I
lives
got.
right near me, man.
You what?
Yeah.
We
I got
live in
quite
the
a
same
few-
area, man.
I got quite a few topics to still go over that we need to get out there. Let's talk about. I know I have. Hold on a second. Let me. I got a lot of Xbox guys. I tried to get to watch it. I don't know if they are watching. I can't see that. But let's talk about the Master Chief Collection. With everything that's gone, Sony's had a lot of things go right. Okay. I think a lot of people associate that to Microsoft's faults. I don't. I think it's a combination of what Sony's done right and what Microsoft's done wrong at the right time. Just at the right time. That's how I feel. That's what I feel about PS4 doing so well. But that's neither here or there. Right now, Microsoft is on the up and up. I think they've done some screwy things to get there. Cough, cough, Tomb Raider. But they keep pushing out updates. How long have we been waiting on the 2.0 update from Sony? So Sony's been doing some stuff. They've been doing this, and you got 2014 has been owned by Microsoft, in my opinion. They've really done a good job with exclusives. If you look at strictly first-party games, I feel like Microsoft won hands down. With that said, they got this Master Chief coming out. Do y'all think that could close the gap? What is that?
I
Some
don't
bullshit
think.
sticker from GameStop.
No.
I peeled it off perfectly, but underneath there was a bullshit one. Bastards. I'll trade it back to him.
I
Sorry
think
to turn you off, but-
collection. There is a lot of people that are hyped for this game. I'll be honest. If I had an Xbox One, I'd pick it up just to play Halo 2 again, the multiplayer, because I did like that. Other than that, I don't think a remastered game's going to help. With how bad the Xbox One is doing right now compared to the PS4, I don't think it's going to catch it up at all, that game. I don't think it's going to cause people to run out and buy a Xbox One just because the Master Chief Collection came out. I don't. That's me. I think it's going to take Halo 5 to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I felt like there's a lot of guys still out there that are on 360. There's 80 million 360s out there. People like me who bought several of them. Obviously that's a fluff number. It's not 80 million that are active, but part of me felt like they were waiting for an excuse to come over, because right now there's really been no reason to go to the Xbox One unless you just wanted better graphics and stuff. But so I thought maybe the Master Chief Collection would be that push. But you might be right. Maybe it's the next Gears or Halo 5.
A lot of Xbox people are transitioning from the 360 to the PS4. I don't know. That's what they're saying.
That could be an option. We don't know. I've been trying to ask people that I meet, whether it be in real life or on Google Plus or whatever, where'd you start off and what'd you go to? I have come across quite a few that The Last of Us kind of pushed them over to the Sony side. and then they started going back and playing God of War and Uncharted and Heavy Rain and all the greats, and fell in love with the Sony franchises. But I don't know. I feel like Master Chief Collection, like if you're going to do a remaster, since we're talking about remasters with Sleeping Dogs and Grand Theft Auto, like if we're going to be honest, that's the best remaster that's going to come out. I mean, that's a hell of a deal to get 4 games in one. Plus you get the beta. Plus you get the cool.
That's the thing with these remastered. You're getting hell of a deal on all of them. You're getting like the Sleeping Dogs. You're probably getting all the DLC. Last of Us, you're getting all the DLC. You're getting a better version of it. Grand Theft Auto, you're getting all the DLC, you're getting a better version, more players online. Metro Redux, you're getting 2 games. I mean, You're not getting cheated at all with these remasters. Yes, these games are games that are old, maybe a year old. Some of them are a little older than that, like Halo. But I just don't see if you're an Xbox 360 owner right now and you don't have a next-gen console like an Xbox One, you're not going to go, oh, well, I'm going to go buy this Master Chief Collection. Why not just buy the used versions of the Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 4, and you probably, with all that, you probably spend just about the same amount of money, or cheaper.
Right. So, yeah, my buddy Ryan says the same thing. He's like, the guys that are diehard Halo guys already have the Xbox One. And so, yeah, it's going to sell well, but it's going to sell well to the guys that already have it. It's not going to push consoles. That's what he thinks.
Sure.
I don't even think, this is just me, I don't think this what's this other game that's coming that everybody's ranting and raving about?
Sunset Overdrive.
Sunset Overdrive. Looks like a great game. We haven't seen too much, like I said last podcast, but the same levels. But that is not a console. That's not a console seller. It's not. It's just it's a fucking other game.
It's icing on the cake.
I don't think it's a console seller. A console seller is like Halo 5, Gears of War. Those games are going to sell consoles. Sunset Overdrive, one thing people understand too, Sunset Overdrive is a new IP. We don't even know if it's going to be good. We never played a previous one.
Well, I feel like the developer behind it. Do what?
The game looks really good, man. It does.
Yeah, but I don't think it's enough to get people out, go out there and buy like 3 million consoles. I mean, I'm just saying.
There aren't many games that are, though.
I don't think it's going to move consoles.
Yeah,
Especially
that's true.
Are there any games this year
that
would do that?
These are sequels. Like, that is not... They're not pushing Sunset Overdrive like they did Watch Dogs and Destiny. Destiny moved consoles. Yeah. Sunset Overdrive is not going to move consoles like that at all. I don't think. I could be wrong.
I don't know. I mean, Infamous sold consoles, and I think this game...
Is Sunset Overdrive enough for you to go to the store and buy an Xbox One, you not having an Xbox One? Is that the game you're going to say, oh, I want that game so bad I'm going to go spend $400?
No, but Horizon 2 would have been, but that's where Microsoft shot themselves in the foot and made it for 360 as well. And they messed up. They should have made that game for next-gen only. Another game that Microsoft's already screwing up on is Tomb Raider. Okay, if you're going to buy exclusive rights, whether it be timed or not, they already said that it was going to be on 360 as well. It's like, dude, you can't come out with a game late 2015 that's going to be on the old console as well. All you're doing is downplaying the true next-gen experience. Like, that's dumb. Microsoft is not selling a lot of consoles because they're not fucking pushing the Xbox One like they should, in my opinion.
I think the Tomb Raider is a little overrated, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
That game.
The older Tomb Raiders were great. That was a game that gave you a challenge. These newer Tomb Raiders...
Did you ever play it, though? You ever play it still? Would you ever want to go back and play a remaster of it? I guess a lot of people did.
I'd play a remastered Tomb Raider if they did do it. It's just like Resident Evil. I'm buying the remaster to that.
I don't know. It just had nothing to pull me back into it, and the story, I don't think it was really that good. I mean, it was nothing exceptional.
Those games were good for the puzzles and everything else. They were challenging. These new Tomb Raiders, the new one that came out, that is a game that holds your hand through the whole game.
Yeah, it's just that.
I know exactly where to go. I guarantee I put the old Tomb Raider in front of you. Maybe not you, vvolflovv, but a lot of other people. They won't be able to figure that game out, but they'll be able to figure out this new one. If they never played either one, they'll figure out the new one. But the old one, they'll be stuck in some puzzle. This new one didn't even hardly have puzzles. It was like not even a Tomb Raider game. It was like I was playing a cheap version of Uncharted. That's just me.
So to me, Tomb Raider I love the direction of it. I like the direction they were going in. Here's what I feel like. Have y'all played what's it called? Shadow of Colossus?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
You know how like whenever you would jump on stuff, you'd have to hold R1 to grab the ledge and stuff? Like, they need, with Tomb Raider, to make that a system seller, to make it really profitable for Xbox, what they need to do is merge the old Tomb Raider with the new Uncharted knockoff. You need to make it hard again. Make that game...
No, I was saying that.
Do what?
I was saying the exact same thing, man. For sure.
Yeah, like make it a... Do what?
Like, you could add certain acrobatic moves and things like that, too.
Right, like make it like a Dark Souls 2 mashup. You know, like Dark Souls 2 is so hard. They need to do that. They need to make it hard again, but go with this new direction. The new direction, going after the Uncharted business, is not a bad business model by any stretch of the imagination, but adding in this whole new level of hardness that Uncharted doesn't have would be really cool, and that would sell consoles, I would think. But
it's for mass appeal. They want to appeal to the mass market.
Yeah, but they didn't do that. The game only sold 1 million copies. Nobody wanted it. The voice acting was terrible outside of Lara Croft. All the supporting cast was miserable. They had no emotion. It was like the story and everything about it was okay. It's just they missed the mark with voice acting, and they made it seem like it was open world, but it was like a linear open world, and I don't know. They missed the mark. That's why I feel like they need to go back to the old school roots, make it hard as shit again, and then, but with this new direction. And I think that'd be a fucking system seller out the ass. And I, for one, being a Sony guy, would be jealous of it, you know?
The potential of it is great. Don't get me wrong. Just like Infamous, I think.
Remember the old how hard they were with puzzles and stuff compared to the Resident Evil. The Resident Evils back then, the puzzles were harder than what they are now.
Right, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, to clear one of those games, I needed to get one of the guidebooks to clear one of them games.
Yeah, the games aren't challenging like they used to be. For a long time, I was like, it's just because I'm smarter, you know, but they don't make games like they used to as far as challenging goes.
Whenever I go back to older games,
more
I'm always stuck looking at shit on YouTube, how to get through it.
Like, I've never even beat Mario. Like, I've never beat Mario. That part, never beat it, not one time.
Mario's hard.
I've never beat it. I don't even think I've ever beat a Sonic game, to be honest with you. Like, they don't make games like that anymore. And I tell you what, a game that was actually really hard, that was challenging, that I really enjoyed was the Metro. That was a really cool game, and it was pretty challenging. Wolfenstein was challenging to a certain degree. I mean, I kind of flew through it, but there was the last boss was pretty hard for me. I had a hard time with that guy. I had to watch some gameplay footage, but
with a win.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, those are the games that were hard, man. They don't do that shit anymore. But that's where the indie scene is still doing it. They're still doing some hard games. I played Fez, and I got stuck on one part where I had to move these stupid boxes, and I was like, what the fuck? I gave up. But yeah, they don't make games like that anymore. And like Shadow of Colossus, for instance, that game was awesome and it was really hard. I still haven't beat it all. I haven't beat it just yet, but I'm still playing through it. But you know, they don't make games like that. And I think Tomb Raider would be a really good game to go back into the being hard, and I think that would be a really good system seller.
I think it's gonna be more action than anything.
Yeah, they're going after Uncharted, dude. They're trying to tackle Uncharted, which is silly because you're not going to win that battle.
I hate it when games try and be other games, because it misses the whole point of being what the game truly is. Yeah.
Wait, say that again. You don't like what?
It needs an identity.
Hey, Wilflo, can you put a headset on, dude? I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me?
No, like everyone, you like cut out.
How's it going, Mr. T?
Oh, okay.
You there, Mr.
Dropping in and out.
Mr. T, can you hear us? Guess not.
Hey, fools, how you doing?
How's it going, buddy?
How's it going?
That's awesome.
Hey, I got my buddy here likes to debate people. I got something for you. You said earlier, you don't understand stuff about Nintendo and the whole third party thing, why it's Ubisoft
They have a
Ubisoft.
microphone
Tell them
on.
what you said.
Oh, okay. What I said, and this is not me attacking. I'm just asking the question. I'm not attacking anybody. I'm just asking the question. I see a lot of stuff, or Nintendo fans getting upset over third-party stuff like the Unity game not coming to Nintendo. And then what was the other game that was they're up in arms over? Was it the Club? No, the Crew. The Nintendo guys were getting upset about. My question is, Nintendo built their entire network, their empire around proprietary stuff, similar to how Apple, like Apple, you can't just use a normal mini USB charger. You have to go buy their proprietary shit. That's kind of how Nintendo is, and so Nintendo came out a year before the X1 and the PS4 to gain ground, and then they at the same time, it was more powerful than the current systems at the time, but it's also underpowered compared to the X1 PS4. I think I don't know that for a fact. So I feel like if you're going to be a Nintendo guy, you can't be, in my opinion, you can't be upset about games like the Unity, the Crew, and that sort of thing not coming out on the Wii U. You can't be mad at the devs. You got to be mad at Nintendo for not putting out a quality hardware product, right? I mean, it's the direction they chose to go in. So why are you bitching at the devs? Why not bitch at Nintendo? That's my question.
Okay.
And maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, well, let me first preface this by saying I don't care about the Crew or Assassin's Creed Unity at all. But as far as Nintendo fans being upset about it, I don't think they're the problem is not with. Okay, you're saying about the hardware. Okay, if that was the case, let's say I agree with that. If that was the case about the hardware, then why on earth did Ubisoft's head and EA's head come on stage with Nintendo saying that all these games were coming? Did they not know what the hardware was at that time? I would think they would. They did, because they were working on things. So why all of a sudden does that change? Like, does this unprecedented partnerships change? I think that's what Nintendo fans are upset about, because we had all these games. They were in the works. They showed their reels at E3 about all these games that were coming, especially EA. Yves Guillemot was also on stage talking the Wii U up. He knew what the specs were then. I would guess he did. I wouldn't talk up a system, but I know the specs of it.
Right.
So why would what changed? I'll agree that some of these games that are coming out are more built for more powerful systems. But we've had scalable games since forever. So even that to a point doesn't really hold weight.
Here's why. Because they want. Sorry to cut you off, man. But they don't. The developers, they don't want to design for the. They don't want to do the extra work to design for it. That's what it comes down to.
Right.
That's obvious.
And I understand that.
Obvious.
It's easy. You just come out and say that. I don't have a problem with you. I have a problem with you saying. That's all. As a Nintendo fan, I don't have a problem with you saying, okay, well, it's not powerful enough, or the fan base, or not the fan base, but the install base isn't big enough. If you just come out and say that, that's great. But if you start saying crap like, well, Nintendo fans don't like mature games, then yeah, we're gonna get upset, because we know that's bull crap. We're very excited for a mature game that's about to come out in a couple weeks. So, to me, it seems like it's personal with these devs, and when it comes to Nintendo, some of these guys.
That is bullshit, man, for sure. I mean, you guys look at the classic games like Castlevania and stuff like that.
Right.
I mean, you can't just say all fan base likes immature or likes less mature games. That's, you know what it is. It's just maybe the guy that was saying that was just an idiot, because a lot of these people that go out and talk, they're just like bullshitters. That's what they are. That's how they get what they are.
Well, this is the head of Ubisoft. I would hope he would know what he was talking about,
Oh, that's the head of Ubisoft. Oh, yeah.
Yves Guillemot, he's the guy. He's running the show. So when he says stuff like that, then you gotta, I mean, for me, even if you really believe that was the case, why would you even come out and say that? What are you expecting the reaction to be? Oh man, he's right. We gotta go out and buy these games now. No, you're gonna piss people off. That's not smart business.
You know what, man? I'll even go in on Sony and Ubisoft. They just need to show us the games and shut the fuck up. Seriously.
Let me ask you this. I'm trying right now. I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at the screen, but I'm trying to Google what the specs are in comparison. But so we know, maybe it's a software issue like with PS3, how it was really hard to write games for, you know. So maybe it would really drag out obviously something's up with building games for it, because look how much longer it takes to make Watch Dogs work on that console. So maybe it's not necessarily a power thing as much as it is how hard it is to build games for it.
I don't think it took Watch Dogs longer. I just think Watch Dogs on Wii U wasn't a priority for them, and so that's why it came out later. I mean, I don't.
But if they're building all at the same time, then how would it be an issue? Like, to me, they're building them all at the same time, so it's almost like there's something up with the software because they have to give it extra devoted time.
Yeah, but we're saying the same thing here. If you have to devote a team to the Wii U version, which you don't feel like is going to sell, and you're not going to give the DLC to, you don't really care about, basically, take those guys off and make sure these other, because how many times the game got delayed before we actually got it on the other systems? It was supposed to come out last year in November, I believe, right?
Right.
And it got delayed until this year. So they were saying, well, the Wii U version is going to slow these other versions down even more. Let's take those guys off that and make sure these other versions that we care about come out first. I mean, that's pretty obvious. I mean, at least from my perspective, it's pretty obvious. That's what happened.
Well, I'm seeing right here it says that, you know, the PS4 has 8 gigabyte GDDR, right? And then the Xbox One is 8 gigabyte DDR3, and then the Wii U is 2 gigabyte DDR3. So it is less powerful. So I mean,
well, you can't. RAM is not a indication.
I'm not a tech guy. I'm just reading off stuff. So I mean, there's a difference there, right? And then there's let's see, there's 1.84 teraflops on the GPU on the PS4, 1.31 on the Xbox One, and then 0.352 on the Wii U. So it is less powerful. There's no doubt about it.
Well, yeah, it's definitely less powerful, but you can't. I'm just saying. As far as tech go, you can't go by straight numbers. On paper, the PS2 looked more powerful than GameCube, but it wasn't. I mean, I
made that argument last time, and I got hated on for
it. I mean, you just can't go by straight numbers. Yes, numbers indicate certain things, of course, but we're talking about you got to look at what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not the biggest tech guy myself. I'm a software guy myself. So all I care about when it comes to hardware is can it run my software.
Right. So let me say this then. Let me say this. After looking at these specs, if I knew how to post this link to where this thing is at, so people could see it that are watching, I'm seeing that it is less powerful. It looks like anyway, but not so much that it couldn't play all these games. Now I will say this, and this is going to be my fanboy. On certain games, I'm glad it's not on Wii U because it would be holding us back worse than the Xbox One, first and foremost. Now, here's the problem though. If these developers weren't being so lazy and going for parity, then all three consoles could be seeing the same games but just different variations. So I'm on your side now, okay? So now I'm understanding what you're saying, and it goes back to the same thing I was saying earlier, which is when the Ubisoft thing happened with the Assassin's Creed, the hashtag went out, PS4 no parity. What should have went out was the gaming community, instead of being fueled by hate, which is what it's been doing this whole year, is everybody's fueled everything by hate. Instead, we should have came together, Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo alike, and we should have said hashtag no parity.
Yeah,
okay, that's what's important here, is no parity amongst all three brands. Now,
Nintendo fans have been saying that, though, but nobody cared.
Right, because of our smaller install base, which is also another issue, right? So that's what needs to take place. We need to stop fighting amongst ourselves, and we need to band together and say, hey, Ubisoft, EA, all the other ones out there, we need to go for no parity. Wii U, we see that there's a little bit difference in power, so we're going to give them the game, but it might take us a little longer. And I think everybody would be okay with that. Hey, Sony guys, we understand that you're more powerful. We're going to give you better resolution or whatever, right? You can see the sword better. Xbox guys, we know that your live is awesome and you got really cool snap features. We're going to do all this, but it's going to take a little bit longer to build our games. the entire community will be okay with that. But the problem is we're so fueled by hate right now that we can't even band together for simple things like this. We don't need parity, period. And that allows the Nintendo to get third-party games again. And now, at the same time, I feel like Nintendo also shoots themselves in the foot with some of their policies, but that's neither here or there. But we need to all strive for no parity in general. That way we can all get the games we want to play. That's just the way I feel.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, it's going to be a hard task to pull off because, you know, a Bayonetta fan, you know, a Bayonetta 2 guys, you know, there's, you know, we want the game, you know, we have a Operation Platinum going on. We want the game to sell 1 million copies, you know, just to show our support for Platinum. And, you know, but you have dudes out there that want it to fail. I mean,
exactly.
I don't understand that mentality. I'm a gamer. Like, I would never want any game to fail. I don't get that. So
that's anti-gamer, man.
Right, when you have exactly. When you have fervent fanboys out there that want games to fail because it's not on their console, I mean that's just it's ridiculous.
I'm glad that Nintendo picked it up and showed it love.
Right. Sony didn't pick it up. Microsoft didn't pick it up. They had the chance to buy this game and fund it. They didn't do it. Nintendo did. You should be happy as a gamer that this game even exists and you can play it. But
yeah, you know,
this is the environment we're in.
It's a good point. It's a good point because you know I was upset about, and I'm okay to admit my mistakes. I feel like when you grow from your mistakes, okay. So I jump the gun a lot, and I'll let my emotions take over sometimes, as we all do. I got upset over Insomniac going to the other side. I feel like they did that out of greed. I still stand by what I said. I still think that going over to Microsoft and building a game for them was wrong.
That wasn't the case again with you're talking about Sunset Overdrive, right?
Yeah, you're right.
That's the same case that's with Bayonetta. Sony didn't want to fund Sunset Overdrive.
No, that's not the case. They didn't want to give them the IP. There's a difference.
They didn't want to say again.
Sony wanted to hold on to the IP.
They wanted to own the IP.
Right. Which I agree with. Right? Like, if I'm a company that's going to like, first of all, who the fuck is Insomniac without Sony? First off, right? Nobody. So they bit the hand that fed them. I'm not going to get into that again, but where my mistake was is that I was upset that they left and went to the other side because I felt like they thought the grass was greener on the other side. They made that decision to go to Microsoft last gen, and they saw how well Xbox 360 was doing, right? So they thought that their cartoony game, would do better on Microsoft's platform, which that's whatever. So they left Sony, and that was their excuse about the IP thing. And I understand the argument that, you know, they're artists and they want to hold on to their work. I get all that. But at the same time, it's a business, and Sony wants to hold on to the IP. No different than Microsoft wanting to hold on to Halo, right? It makes sense. To me, I'm okay with that. But at first I got really mad at it. I'm not mad at it. You know, I was like, oh, man, you went to Microsoft? That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
And now that you make that point, you know, I don't know. I
bought an Xbox.
Now I'm second guessing myself, you know. Like,
I bought an Xbox One mainly because of that game, you know. And I'm a crazy Nintendo fan, so I just want the game. You know, I'm just happy the game exists.
That answers our question from earlier. Is it going to sell consoles? Do you think it's going to sell consoles?
It sold mine.
Mr. T, do you think a bunch of people that don't have an Xbox One are gonna come out and get a new IP that never proved itself at all?
I think a lot of guys who like Insomniac will probably do it. Like, for me as a Nintendo fan, like Insomniac, with the games that they made for PlayStation was what drew me to PlayStation consoles. So,
really, I didn't like them at all.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying, from a Nintendo dude, like me jumping on PlayStation, it was games like the Jack and Daxters and the Spyros, those type of games got me in, and then, you know, I got acclimated to other games while I was there. But
Mizzah T, you're not the only one. I wasn't into Sony until now, really.
Hey, you know what? You kind of have to blame Sony for this because if they really wanted to keep that IP, they could have.
I thought they had a stake in Insomniac at one point. Didn't they own Insomniac?
They did.
I don't remember. I know they helped them out a lot, and they made them who they are today. That's why I felt like they bit the hand that fed them. it's kind of a similar story what happened with Bungie and Microsoft.
Well, you can say the same thing about what happened to Nintendo and everybody. Nintendo pretty much saved Square Enix. And where is the love, Square Enix?
Well, Square Enix is being saved, quote unquote, by Microsoft. That's their excuse for the Tomb Raider thing, and that was actually what I was going to segue into. Is that I was real upset about that, you know, and now that you say that, Tomb Raider didn't sell for shit anywhere, and so Square Enix is like, we want to do another game. I think we can do it better. And Microsoft bit. You know, they're like, hey, we'll help you do it. So now that you put it that way, I feel like maybe that's kind of cool. You know, like, and I don't want to be like everybody else and be like, oh, you're not coming to my platform, so fuck you. I don't want to be like that. I can't help but think like that sometimes, but I don't want to be like that. You know, like if we had our chance, right? And so did Microsoft, and to a certain degree, everybody had their chance to play Tomb Raider, and we didn't. And at the same time, in our defense, that game also wasn't very good. But so you know, Microsoft is doing what they got to do. It is what it is. I'm not mad at them anymore. I got over it. You know, I understand. I kind of learned from jumping the gun. I'm trying not to let my emotions take over as soon as I read news. You know, I'm trying to kind of think it out first. But
well, I mean, you can make the argument that you know, the first Tomb Raider, the reboot, or what, if you will, maybe it cost too damn much to make, and because it sold what, 4 million, 5 million copies, I think.
No, one. It was like 1 million.
The first
originally. Yeah, on the 360 PS3. Yeah, it was not good at all.
I think that was 2 million, I think.
Okay, wow. Well, even still, it's still not very good.
Okay, never mind my the argument I was about to make.
Yeah, but see, Sony, for Sony to buy the Tomb Raider, that would be kind of silly because they already have the Uncharted, so it would be kind of silly for them to get that.
Yeah, it wouldn't make any sense.
So yeah, Microsoft can have their wannabe game. Yeah, it can touch Uncharted, so you know it is what it is.
Shout out to Dallas C. He said he's got a post for you, David, on here. It says I'll help you out. I guess he's got the comparison of the PS4, Xbox One, and Wii U.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
He says the Wii U is way underpowered by a long shot, and its hard drive is only 32 gigabytes.
It's not way underpowered. It's underpowered, but it's not.
What's the hard drive got to do?
That's what I was gonna say. But,
well, in his defense, think about it, dude. Like, well, Grand Theft Auto 5 is 50 gigs right off the bat, so that wouldn't be able to go on the console.
Right, but I don't know if people don't understand that on the Wii U side, we don't have to install our games to our console.
Have you ever? Right. If you ever use a Wii U, you'll notice how fast that it processes too. It actually spawns really well.
Yeah, it's. I just checked. I just checked Tomb Raider, and it's at nearly 4 million, which you know isn't great, but.
Is that including the PS4 and Xbox One?
I haven't even checked the PS4. My bad. Let me go. PS4. It's at 600,000 roughly for PS4, and Xbox One. It's at 200,000. So.
Yeah, which is weird. It's like, hey, we're gonna get this exclusively to the console that didn't buy it, but you know, whatever. Okay, that makes sense. I feel bad for you Nintendo guys. Like, you know, I don't know. I mean, to me, I've never seen a Nintendo as a primary console anyway. Like, for me, a Nintendo would always be like, I want one for my kids, you know, to play with my kids. But I would never make that my primary. Like, I would always have my multiplats on another console anyway.
Yeah, I get on a lot of Nintendo people, but like I said, I do feel bad for them as well.
You ain't gotta feel bad for us. We ain't
no funeral. Mr. T, is that a fair statement? I mean, I thought it seemed like the Nintendo corporate even felt like that was a secondary console. Is it not? I mean, everybody I know that has one has another console to play everything
else. I think Nintendo, you know, concedes that they're not the most popular anymore, and they're saying is, okay, you can go buy your most popular console, and you can also buy a Wii U. And I just feel like, you know, that's just how they see it. Like for me, Nintendo fans, we've been on this quality over quantity since like N64. That was like the mantra, starting with the N64. Like, you know, we play our games for like years even. You know,
Right.
so you know, I don't know. I feel like certain gamers, like they just run through a game and they're like, oh, where the next game at? And for me, you're not getting everything out of that game with that
Right.
mentality. Like I like,
Yeah, I play a lot of games too. I replayed them.
it just feels throwaway to me, you know. And I guess I'm a little different than a lot of people because, you know, if you've seen my videos, you know I got like every system on the planet and still like a lot of games for them. So
You have a very nice collection, man. I really appreciate your collection of gaming.
oh, thank you.
So let me ask you this then, because if that's the case, then why, if everybody understands that it's going to secondary console or even primary, but everybody understands that you're going to have two consoles, why do would you play, let's say, Watch Dogs on the Wii U over the PS4 or Xbox One? I wouldn't. Why would you go for the?
Why would I do that? One, we don't get the DLC. We never get the DLC.
No, if it was all the same, but the only difference is that you're getting a downgraded version, then why does it matter? If at the end of the day you're going to play it on the better console anyway, not better. I don't mean it like that. You know what I mean? Like if you can have a Watch Dogs 1080p, 60 frames a second, blah 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 on the PS4 or Xbox One, why would you play the downgraded version on the Xbox or on the Wii U?
You guys are sitting here having an argument about parity.
No, I know. But that's not reality though. So
no,
reality
we
is.
know that we ain't talking about graphics. Nintendo fans ain't talking about graphics. That's not our thing. What we're saying is at least give us the same game as far as the content.
No,
We don't
I
even
get
get the
that.
content.
I get that. But if you already have the other console, I'm asking you the question: would you play it on the Wii U over the PS4 or Xbox One?
Me, I would, because Nintendo has always been my primary console. I can't say that everybody else would. See, that's the thing about the Wii U that I've been arguing about as far as a lot of these third-party games. Why they don't sell is that you want Nintendo fans to hop on Mass Effect 3 when we didn't have Mass Effect 1 or 2. You want us to hop on Assassin's Creed 3 and 4 when we didn't have Assassin's Creed 1 and 2. You have to cultivate that audience first. You're gonna have to lose some money. That's just how it works in business, to cultivate an audience. Now, if you don't want to do that, and that's what a lot of these companies are going through, they just don't want to do that. But Wii U does offer at least a different way to play the game. That would, I think, entice other players to say, okay, well, maybe this new way to play is a cool thing. You know, let me check it out. But they don't do that. What they do is they throw a damn map up on the screen, and that's it. You know, they don't really add anything using the Wii U gamepad.
Right,
And
so that's what it is. That's what it boils down to. It's like, look, y'all are screaming, we want no parity. We want our feature sets to be really cool for such and such, right? And just like the PS4 guys, we're going to want, I mean, whatever, right? So that makes sense. So, again, it goes back to what I was saying. We need to come together as a community of gamers and shoot for no parity, plain and simple. And then everybody wins. What's the install base like on the Wii U?
I think it's a little over 7 million.
7 million, yeah.
Wow, so it's a lot. Okay, wow, so they're even kicking the Xbox One's ass.
Right,
So,
and that's another thing. It's like they cry about install base. We got a bigger install base than Xbox One, but yet Xbox One is still getting these games that we ain't getting over here. So you can't give us that. You can't give us the install base argument, because that's bogus.
So it's got to be. So the part of it's got to be on Nintendo. Then it's got to be the way. How it must be hard to work with them. Then I imagine.
I think it's a business thing that Nintendo doesn't want to do what the other companies are doing. I think, you know, nobody's come out and said that. That he kind of hinted at it. I think it was EA, I think, said that Nintendo still wants to operate like its Super Nintendo era. And I think what they mean by that is a lot of these Sony and Microsoft will pay for the advertisement for your game on their system. Nintendo ain't doing that. One reason is that Nintendo it ain't built as strong as Microsoft. They can't afford to do that.
Who is?
They just and Sony, which a company that has been doing that, obviously that's part of what's hurting them. That's what's hurt them anyway. So I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to do that. So,
well, they haven't been, right? I mean, look, with the Unity, with like Watch Dogs and Unity, you see Microsoft come out and go, hey, no sir, Mr. Whoever, we want Diablo 3 to run at 1080p just like 64, and they made them make it work. Sony has not done that one time. at all. So like when all this bullshit's going on about the 900p 30 frames a second on Assassin's Creed, where the fuck was Sony to back us up and be like, hey, no, you better make this 1080p.
Right.
So I was a little upset by that, you know. So
And,
you know, it is what it is.
and on top of that, imagine where Nintendo is. Nintendo is even under that. You know, like as Nintendo fans, we want to get mad at Nintendo, but we know that they can't go to Bethesda and say, you know, we want this. They're not operating from a position of power when it comes to these third parties. You know,
and that's where Microsoft has got that EA mentality where they're just trying to throw money around, or it seems that way. I can't. It's not fair to say that's what they're doing, but
their pockets are a lot longer than everybody else's. So
right. You know, look at Witcher 3. Witcher 3, and some people have said I'm wrong on this, but maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But I remember a few months back, Witcher 3 came out on an article. I want to say it was, I can't remember who it was, but it came out and it said we were going to be at 1080p on PS4. Most likely will be 30 frames per second, and we're still working towards 1080p 30 frames a second on Xbox One. And then in that same article, they talked about how they weren't going to do parity. They weren't going for parity. They were actually in the optimization stages at that point in time. And then I swear to God, like 3 days later, that's when they announced the exclusive pre-order bundle bullshit for the Xbox One, where you got the additional cloths or whatever. And then right after that, it was like another 2 days after that, they came out and said that neither console are going to be able to hit 1080p because they're already maxing out the consoles. And I was like, wait a minute. Every time there's been a parity or a downgrade in quality, whether it's Watch Dogs or even the Divisions, it's already happening on the Division. It seems like Microsoft's always really close by. And so then it makes people like me go, where the fanboy comes out in me, and I'll go, you know, wait a minute here. That's kind of odd. You said you weren't going to do any exclusive deals for any one company. Now you put out these little special cloths, and now all of a sudden PS4 can't hit 1080p? That's a little weird. So it's like everybody starts pointing at Microsoft saying, hey, you're paying them not to make it good. And I don't want to say that that's what's happening, because I don't want to think that these developers are you know, like there has to be some integrity there, and I don't know. Hopefully, Microsoft's not out there paying everybody to screw over Sony. You know, and that also seems semi-illegal to me. But
I don't think I would go there right now unless you can really show anything. It's not worth going there.
No, I know, but I'm saying that's what everybody's saying. That's what a lot of these fights come from. Is that's what it seems like, because every time parity comes up, or parity or a downgrade, Microsoft is always really close by through an exclusive deal, like with Madden, right? So they get the special Madden bundle and all that, and then all of a sudden people are saying, "Oh, it looks better on Xbox One," and that's weird.
But that's a lot of money at stake. Think of how much money you would need to pay them to do that.
But you say that, but look at Destiny. Microsoft can't even advertise Destiny being on Xbox One, even though it is, because of the exclusivity deal.
It on the other console. It's not exclusive in certain ways. So who knows? They could end up with a patch or something down the road, right?
No, I'm just saying it's exclusive.
Ubisoft has control. So
yeah, I'm just saying that this exclusivity stuff goes both ways. Everybody's doing it. Even you got retailers trying to do exclusive deals for special content. It's getting out of hand, man.
I'm against it all the way. I don't like it when, no matter who's doing it. I think it's ridiculous. If you're third party, stay third party. Which is what I was going to say with Insomniac. It's like you're a third party guy. You have been. So if you're going to do that and you want to keep the IP, go third party. Make it for everybody. First of all, you're shooting yourself in the foot by cutting out an entire install base. Like, just like you said, the Nintendo guys would have loved Sunset Overdrive.
Oh,
they probably would have done really well on Wii U. So third party needs to stay fucking third party, hands down. I mean, I don't understand. I hate it. I don't get it.
And Mr. T, another game I think would have done great on Nintendo is Plants vs. Zombies.
Yeah, Plants vs. Zombies.
Why did they put that on there? That was on the 360. It's on the PS3. It's a perfect game for Wii U. I don't understand why they skipped that.
We're talking about EA here. EA has a stick up their butt when it comes to Nintendo right now. So.
Hey, Mr. T, what do you think about? I was mentioning. What do you think about Nintendo Warfare or Smash Warfare?
Smash Warfare. What are you talking about?
If you had like a Garden Warfare type.
Okay. You mean like a kind of a mashup,
Yeah.
like a Nintendo Warfare? That'd be kind of cool.
That would be kind of, because you could add some cool skills and stuff in that.
Yeah,
too.
that would be pretty sweet. I think. Yeah. It's a good idea.
What do you think about The Evil Within, Mr. T? Are you looking forward to that game?
I'm mildly looking forward. I mean, is it Shinji Mikami, right? That's the game you're talking about.
It's made by Bethesda. It's the maker of Resident Evil.
Resident Evil, yeah. Shinji Mikami, yeah.
Supposedly his last game, he's going out with a bang. I watched some, gameplay today because it's been on Twitch because people have been streaming. It looks great to me. I mean, graphic-wise, it don't look like they showed us, of course, but it does look a lot like a little darker version of Resident Evil 4. It looks great.
Hey, Dave, I don't mean to cut y'all off, but King Grimpachi, or whatever, I can't ever pronounce that.
Oh,
He's trying to get in.
Oh, get him in, man.
Yeah, he's trying to get in.
This has been a long podcast, but
Yeah,
When'd you guys start?
I don't know. It's how it always goes.
No, it hasn't been that long. We started like 8:30. It's only been an hour.
I added him.
Yeah, 2 hours, man. That's long.
No, it's only been an hour.
Oh no, he's in. Were you at Central Time?
I'm in Central Time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what.
Yeah, Willflow. It's only been. You came in late, dude. We started an hour. It's only been an hour, or a little over.
Nice.
Yeah, our last one was like 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
But that the Evil Within, I'm hyped for it. It looks great. That's coming out. I think Sleeping Dogs, the definitive version 2, is coming out Tuesday.
Another one of those.
Yeah, another one of those. Like I said earlier, what's good about them? They give you a lot of content and stuff. That's a good, and they're all usually about $50.
Yeah, I don't mind though. I just feel like they're instead of being an add-on, an extra thing you can buy. I feel like they're putting these games out in front, because they don't have anything else coming.
Hey, breaking news. Yo, Naughty Dog just released another picture of Uncharted 4. Yo, this game is going to shut it down. Oh my God, y'all need to Google this and look it up. Man, Nathan Drake is the real deal in this game.
Yeah, you should play Drake in the movies.
Yo.
Is Sully still going to be in it?
Do what?
Is Sully still going to be in it?
I don't know. They said there's a big announcement coming soon. Very soon, actually. Dude, I'm excited. This game's going to be awesome.
Is it the one with Drake just standing there looking at...
He's it's a black background with a Naughty Dog gray paw behind him, and he's like putting his hand. He's got his hand on the gun like he's taking it out of his holster. Here, look. Where's my camera? That one. Y'all see it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's Drake's face again.
How's it going, King Grimpachi?
What's up? What's up, everybody?
Yeah. Hello.
Check that, man.
Oh, I'm getting. People are making fun of my stupid Call of Duty poster. I go to my buddy at GameStop gives me a bunch of free memorabilia, so everything I get I just put up, regardless of what it is.
Grimpachi, are you friends with Nate?
Am I friends with Nate?
Yeah.
Gamer Nate? Me and Nate are buddies, yeah. I know Nate. Well, we talk about Nate now? I don't want to talk about I don't think it's a good time to talk about Nate right now. He's going through stuff. Let's not talk about Nate.
Well, since we brought up Nate,
Yeah.
Nate messaged me the other night to say this. I'm just putting this out there. I'm not attacking Nate or nothing. I left Nate alone. I dropped the whole thing with Nate. He messages me last night, and there's a reason I'm jumping in about this. I want to put this out there before he makes some bullshit. All right, he says to me last night, around what time was it?
I can vouch for you. I was on the phone with you.
Yeah,
it was
you're
like
on the
9 o'clock.
phone. I told you when he messaged me. He says this is 11:32 last night. I left Nate alone. Didn't want nothing to do with him. He says, you can tell Clown I'm done. He wishes my mother to die on a table. Then a week later, today, she dies on a table. Hope that bastard is happy he got his wish. Now, Nate, if you're going to use your mother's death as a way to reverse this whole thing of like what we got into, that's sad. I mean, I feel sorry. I give my condolences to your family. I don't wish anybody's parents dead. I went through the same thing with my dad. But don't use this as your little advantage to turn things around. And don't blame Clown Meat for the argument you got into. And first off, I think it's very strange for somebody's mother to die, and then you jump on and make a YouTube video and put it on there. Maybe you don't have a lot of friends in life, and that's your way to look at things, but that's a sad way. It's something you shouldn't put out there. If you don't want attacks like that, because I did see your comment section, people have been attacking you. You're putting your business out there, and that's why all this shit always happens to you. I'm just saying, don't turn this around and Clown Meat. Don't say, oh, Dave had enough. Don't turn it on us. I give you my condolences, but don't use this as a way out. And I told you I was going my own way, and now you're bringing me back into this. So what happens after this, if you want to continue, I'll do it. It don't matter. I'm just putting that out there.
Okay, real quick, we don't need to get into the Dave bashing again.
No, that's something I was going to address in a video, but I might as well.
So hold on. Right. So I have condolences to Nate. I'm sorry that his mom died, but this would be. I'm just saying this. I hope he ain't turning this around.
What?
He's saying he hopes he's not, like, you know.
I could just see him using this as an outlet because, you know, what Clown Meat said was wrong, but, I mean, what he did was wrong, holding a knife up in a video and threatening my life.
Which is what I said originally, which is what got me mad at me.
Crossed the line right there, and if he's worried about Clown Meat crossing the line, and nobody knows if Nate's telling the truth half the time or not, and if you are, I'm just putting this out there, Nate. If you're, I mean, I don't think you're lying. There's a little part of me that does. If you're coming up with something like this to say that, that's sad. But I don't think you are. I hope not.
That'd be very low.
Nothing like that, because I have seen people make up.
I'll ever see on YouTube.
I'm just saying, I've seen some weird shit on YouTube. People make up some weird stuff. I'm not saying you did, but I'm just saying if you did, that's screwed up, man.
Yeah.
That's all I want to say about Nate. I'm done with the whole topic. I just wanted to put that out there so I don't have to make a video.
I mainly wanted to come in here because me and Dave was talking about this, but I want to, you know, chime in on the hardware and the thing with Assassin's Creed. Like, yeah, like the Assassin's Creed game with the PS4. That's why I've been saying, you know, maybe you guys should ask for like options in your games, like graphical options and stuff, so you can tinker with it yourself. But we don't know. Like, honestly, I can't tell you if the PS4 can process all those character models and give you 1080p. I don't know if it can do that.
Yeah, because PS4 does have a weaker, I hate saying that even word, quote-unquote weaker CPU. So
I'm not sure what it can do, but the best thing for gamers to ask for is just say, hey, give me graphical options. I can figure out what it does when you just allow me to change it how I want to change it. You know.
That's one thing for PC I'd like to see on consoles.
Well, and Naughty Dog did that. That's why I brought it up, Keen, was because of what you said in your video, and it's true because Naughty Dog did that for us, and so we know it can be done now that Naughty Dog did it. They gave us the option.
True.
So you're on to something there, and I think Naughty Dog is going to do the same thing again with Uncharted 4.
Yeah, they're going to try to say, you know, oh, it's going to be too complicated for you guys. It's really not. It's very simplistic. All they have to say is this does this, off on, bam.
Right.
That's all it is.
Right. And so here's the other thing about you just said that the GPU is weaker. The Xbox One GPU is faster, but
no. CPU.
CPU is faster on the Xbox One, but the PS4 can do more. I saw a video came out a while back from a company that talked.
And that's why. And that's the point I was making, that you can't go by straight numbers.
Right. Right. So here's another thing. My buddy Shane Brody just said, Bodie, sorry. He said the whole EA and Nintendo problem started all the way back in NES. Nintendo gave EA hell. Nintendo almost bankrupted EA, and EA didn't forget. Is that true?
What?
I've never heard that before.
Okay.
What is?
I don't know. That's just what he said.
There was no EA on NES, was there?
Yeah.
Were they back then?
Maybe towards the tail end of NES, but EA didn't really blow out until like the 16-bit era. So
Well, maybe somebody can Google that. I don't know. That's just what he said.
If EA was out then, that's when they had like the pyramid, the circle, and the square thing probably, and that's like back in the day.
Thing is not new. They did the same thing on N64. They played around in the beginning on N64. They did the same thing on GameCube. That's one of the reasons that N64 got what was it, the Nintendo Sports line. Remember the Kobe Bryant and they had their own King Griffey baseball. That's one of the reasons those games were happening, because EA was playing around when it came to N64. And same thing with GameCube in the beginning. That's why you had Retro about to make sports games. They had their own football game they were working on because EA was playing around with Madden again when it came to the GameCube. So this ain't new. If you've been a gamer for a while, this is something EA's been doing to Nintendo for a long time. So I fully expect them to be back within the next couple of years. It won't be in full force.
It's almost like EA, and not only EA, like, because I'm going to tackle some things about Nintendo, but it's like EA is like almost like messing with Nintendo, because the new FIFA isn't on Wii U, but it's on the Wii.
It's on the Wii.
It's like, what? And then, like, I keep hearing a lot, like, sometimes, you know, people have to realize, like, when it's just, you know, when bullshit is happening, like, I hear a lot of, like, Nintendo fans just saying, you know, a lot of them are saying this is you know, not right, which I agree with. But then some are saying, well, you know, there's a bigger FIFA community on the Wii, and I'm like, what? Like, really? Like, come on now. Like, come on now.
Hey, I don't know nothing about that stuff.
Come on now. Like, let's be honest. But like I was saying earlier, you guys were saying, like, well, you know, why can't certain games go on Wii U and stuff like that? Honestly, a lot of it comes from the developers. Like, one of the main reasons why they want these consoles to be so similar to computers and stuff, and the two to be similar, is to make it easy to port them over. Whereas the Wii U, you're gonna have to like do extra work, not because it's harder, but because if you're making this high definition game and it looks really good in detail, you're gonna probably have to downgrade it for the Wii U. That's more work that they don't want to do, and they wouldn't mind doing it if they got money. And not necessarily if they pay, but let's say people just bought it, then they were like, all right, whatever, you know, we'll still do it, we're getting money.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the only way you're gonna get that is if the install base gets you know, to a point where you can't ignore it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one way, and or Nintendo helping, you know, fund some of these things, you know, but Nintendo ain't gonna do that.
I mean, Nintendo's known to fund things that they don't like have the rights to and stuff, but
right, they'll do certain things.
Yeah, they'll do certain things, but like that's one thing. Like Dave was saying, he was like, I don't understand why, you know, Insomniac left, you know, with Sony. Well, Insomniac, I think they wanted to own something.
Right.
They didn't own anything. Everything they did, someone else owned. So I think this is just, they were like, you know, we need to have something that belongs to us, and that's understandable, you know.
Yeah,
and Sony wasn't willing to give that up.
And that's why I was going back on what I said, because you can learn, Nate, if you're listening, you can learn from your mistakes and move forward, right? I mean, you know, I don't want to come out of the gate and say a bunch of shit and then never speak about it again. I'm not, you know, it's your boy. Next, you know, yeah, I'm not that guy. You know, I'm not going to just make a mistake, say something stupid, and then not correct it. You know,
it's very easy. As fans, it's very easy for us as fans of, you know, I'm a Nintendo fan, so it's very easy for us to be in a Nintendo fan bubble, and everything, you know, that's said in that bubble is the truth always, you know. But, you know, that's not the truth on the, you know, on the grand scheme of things. So when you get in your little area and it's like, oh man, they did us wrong and blah blah blah, you're not seeing it from the full spectrum. And that's one of the reasons I like to jump in these kind of podcasts with you other guys, because I want to show that, you know, I'm a gamer and I try to see it from all perspectives, even though obviously I'm a Nintendo fan first. I try to,
by the way, your videos are fucking amazing. I just recently, I'm not real savvy with computers, and I haven't seen everybody yet that I should have seen already, and I just came across one of your videos recently, and man, I was blown away at how good it was. You do a really good job. Like, I really like it.
Thank you for that.
I want to say that you and me, we've always had arguments in and there, but like I said, I really enjoy your videos. I really enjoy your videos.
Yeah, I actually showed my parents. I was like, y'all gotta check this out. This dude's doing a good job. It's awesome. They got a kick out of it.
That's what you get with you know, $60,000 worth of college student loans.
Right. So by the way, now that we're on, the mistakes bandwagon, hey, Mr. Clownfeet, if you made a statement on your last video that I should have thanked Dave for all my views. Let me clear a couple things up first. Dave, you're laughing already because you know I've already spoke about it. First and foremost, understand that I suck at computers. And when I created my first video, I thought I put it on a new channel. I did not, and I put it under my personal channel where it has my kid on there and my couple Mustang stuff. So I first understand that I've been on Google Plus for about a year, a little under a year, and I was busting my ass to get a good following on there. My goal is to get 500 followers and then make my first video. Well, I went ahead and did it at 360 followers on Google Plus. So when you said that, out of all the shit you said about me, the only thing that offended me was that I should have gave credit to Dave for my views and or subs, because from what I can tell, everybody that subbed me after that first video were people that I've been associating with on Google Plus, first and foremost. However, with that said, I did not realize, because I hadn't even made that video yet until after the podcast that I was on with Dave. So I didn't see how it was possible for me to get views off that podcast because I didn't think I had a channel yet. Where I was wrong is that I already did have a channel, and I actually put my video on my original channel. I didn't mean to do that. So with that said, to the world, Dave, if I did get views and subs from your podcast, I thank you, sir. That's awesome of you. I appreciate you letting me in, and that's awesome. Me, thank you for pointing that out.
I was mad at you, because I don't know if you guys were going off in the comment section with that whole Nate thing going on. And I was just kind of tired of the whole Nate thing. I was at that point, and Clownmeat said to me, he's like, we were talking, and he's like, this David guy just keeps going on and on and on. And I was like, what's he saying? And he checked your channel out, and he's like, how does he have 44 subs and he just started a channel? And I said, well, maybe because he's on the podcast with, Nate.
Right.
This whole thing with Nate, because when this whole thing with Nate happened this time, my channel got a lot of, bigger YouTubers who were watching it. From RXL and, Black Bond was, everybody viewed it on this because Nate flipped the fuck out. Me and him didn't know. Well, at the time I was getting a lot of hate too, and a lot of good comments. And I was like, if the guy just started YouTube, I was like, probably got views from that. I can honestly come out here and say I've helped channels out, people that I've supported that had no subs, that I've got them subs off of my little dinky channel. And Clownmeat was just thinking that. He didn't know you had followers on Google Plus. You were doing stuff. Now, all that other stuff, whenever you guys were in the mix, that's you guys.
Right. Yeah, fair enough. I just wanted to get that out there. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to ask a quick question real quick.
Yeah.
Steve, who are you on YouTube?
Video game lover.
Oh, okay, I thought so. All right.
Yeah.
Because all I see is Steve here in the Hangout, so.
Yeah.
I'm working on the Google Plus thing. My username is aka G.E.R.A.
Yeah, I know you now.
Let me. I want to get y'all's opinion on this since you got a few people in here.
There's a sub that wants to address you, David. He goes,
God.
Justin Wheeler would not have subbed if not for Dave's had enough, and I'm the one that matters anyway. And he goes, how
who's saying this?
He says fuck your couch. He says fuck your couch.
Who's saying that?
Justin Wheeler, he's one of your subs.
I was going to guess that.
Hold on. I don't know if I can see that.
Oh, no, he messaged me on Google Hangouts.
Oh, okay. And what did he say?
He just said he's one of your subscribers, and he wouldn't be one if it wasn't for me, and he said fuck your couch.
Justin Wheeler.
Don't be rude. Don't be rude.
A little bit of Dave Chappelle humor there.
Right.
So how do you like the Xbox One, Mr. T, since you got it? Have you been playing anything on it, or what's going on with it?
It's a real nice Wii U stand, that's for sure. No.
That's wild horse. He's got an Xbox One.
No, I haven't. Like I said, I'm mostly waiting for Sunset and the Halo Master Chief Collection. So right now I have Forza,
Yeah, you got the
Motorsport
Forza
5.
Horizon 2.
No, I got Forza Motorsport 5.
Okay.
So I've been playing that a lot. That's mostly what I play, other than Blu-rays. So I haven't given a good run. But as far as the features go, they're okay. Like
Is it as slow as everybody says to install disc and all that stuff?
Oh man, it took a nice minute. I don't know comparison wise what it is to play PS4. Wii U doesn't install the game, so I don't know. But it damn sure takes a while. That's for sure. And the Kinect is pretty useless.
I'll admit the Xbox One takes forever.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to get everybody's opinion on something. This is something I've been thinking of over the past couple of years. When it comes, who all plays sports games? Anybody play sports games in here?
Mm-hmm.
I play NBA. Okay.
I play them.
Okay. So I have two parts to this discussion. First part, I feel like they come out like NBA 2K15, Madden 15, FIFA. They all come out every year. I feel like, first and foremost, if you're going to review a sports game, you should be required to review the game solely on what has been improved, right? So, like, let's say a big change happens from 2009 to 2010 on NBA 2K. Well, that gets a rating 9.5. And then from 2010 to 2011, they only improved 5 things. It doesn't automatically get a 9, right? Because it's already a badass game, no doubt. But they only made 5 improvements. So therefore, it should be like a 3 because they didn't do any improvements. And so every year, it's like it's carrying over the same review every year because they're just putting out the same fucking game. They should only do reviews on what the changes were, right? That's my first opinion. My second opinion is, why are they making sports games every year? In my opinion, they should do it every 2 to 3 years, and in between, right? So whenever they would normally bring out a new game, they should do an upgrade or a patch, right? Where they would improve the graphics, they would improve the or change the rosters up, make the rosters accurate, make those subtle changes that they're already doing. Instead of selling a $60 retail copy, they should charge you $30, and you keep the same damn game. And then once 3 years have gone by, then you buy the newer, upgraded, badass version. That's the way it should be.
I can answer that. Like first starting off with the reviews, like. I mean, yeah, I get your point. They should only talk about the things they improve because it's basically like the same thing. But I don't know because other games do that where they review like the whole entire thing and not just the improvements. If it's like a upgrade of a game, like I remember when Wind Waker HD came out, some people just reviewed the HD parts and the upgrades. Then someone reviewed the whole entire game, which. Wind Waker is a great game, so that's kind of unfair. And they didn't really even talk that much about the upgrades. They just talked about how good the game was. Certain people did that with The Last of Us Remastered. So I don't know about that and how they tackle that because not everybody's going to review the game the same. But EA back in the day, that's why you don't see Madden on on PC, is because they started the whole update your roster thing. And then they realized, hey, if I could update my roster, why do I need to buy the next game, especially when it's not improved? It's just
Hey, I'm going to head out, okay? I'll see you guys later.
Later. Take care, man.
And Wind Waker's defense, if I may, because I'm a defendo, so.
I'm a defendo.
I got a defendant. And Wind Waker's defense, it's a 12-year-old game on a console that didn't sell that well. So a lot of people don't even know about the game, didn't really know about the game, unless you're a diehard Nintendo guy or a Zelda fan. So I think in the defense of, reviewing the whole game, a lot of people just didn't know about this game, so as far as that goes. But as far as why they keep selling $60 games every year that's the same game, is because we keep buying them. And they're going to keep selling them as long as we keep buying them. We can complain all we want, but you vote with your dollars.
Right, but couldn't you make more money? You would make more money the other way because you wouldn't have to sacrifice all those man hours.
Not really.
I don't think so.
Because you got to remember, they take pretty much the last game and improve. They take the last game they already did and just add extra stuff. That
same engine and everything.
I'm glad somebody brought this up. Like somebody was trying to tell me something about sports games. Like they're not $60 every year. I think I got my copy of Madden day one for $15.
What?
How'd you do that?
You got to go on the website and find that.
Well, Best Buy gives you $10 for pre-ordering it, and when you trade in last year's Madden, they also gave you $25 credit, and then it came with a $10 coupon.
Oh.
Okay, that's rare, dude. Nobody does that.
How can they afford it? I'm confused. How can they afford to do that? That's $25 for the whole copy?
Madden does that every year.
I'll tell you one
every
thing.
year.
Don't do no mail-in rebates. That's a fucking scam. I'll tell you.
And I'm not sure about the other sports games, but I'm sure like a week or two before like NBA 2K comes out, you could probably sell it on eBay for like $20. So when you look at it, it's like something that's like $20 to $40, and like you're saying, they should just come with a patch and come with a few improvements.
Right.
Well, imagine if they just had one game, but charged you like $40 a year as a subscription model. I mean, that's what I kind of look at it as. Like, I'm really paying like this certain amount of money to like subscribe to this sports game every year.
Well, but see, they're not flat out saying that though. That's the problem. Is like, I feel like if they do it the way I was proposing, you would see. I don't know. I just feel like it'd be a better.
I mean, it really wouldn't work that. Like, all right, if Sony were to drop a game every year and people are buying it every year, why would they not keep doing it? They're making money.
Because you can make more. Can you make just as much money though? Like people like me don't play sports games anymore because of that reason alone. I know there's a lot of people that feel that.
Doesn't Sony come out with MLB every year?
Yeah, they're the same way. They need to do the same thing. I don't play any sports games anymore because of that.
But certain people buy it every year, like.
Right. No, I know. But those same people would still buy it. If you're doing just a patch, it's less money. They don't have to put out the cases and the DVDs and all that. And you could have one team dedicated to creating the next 3-year game, and then your other teams would be doing the patches and the updates and all that. So you would separate your divisions out, and so I would think you would make more money that way. I don't know, and maybe you're right, or maybe you do a subscription thing where it's just you pay a certain amount, and make it kind of like an MMO in a way. I just feel like
if you really look at it, like unless they fuck up on last year's game, they don't really try next year. Like look at 2K15 for 14, like it's really the same thing.
Right, exactly. That's my point.
So they're not really doing anything. You know what I'm saying? They're not. They're basically not doing nothing. So it's easy to put this game out every year, and it's not. It probably costs that much either.
Yeah, but I see both sides. Check this out. I like what Dave's proposing, but I also like what RXL is proposing because that's a good idea to get people into your brand to give them that deal. The thing is, if you take too long off, the game might still be shit, and I hate to say this, but look at NBA Live. But the thing I would like to see them actually take that year and improve the hell out of the game. Give us a patch for like half the price that updates the roster and all that for the other one. Except that people might not buy that.
I think it's a great idea. I mean, I love. It's a great idea. I've been wanting, them to do it for a while. But here's the thing. Here's the reason I think they don't do it. It's because not everybody in this country or across the world has great internet. I think that's one of the reasons that we don't get stuff like that.
That's a fair statement. That's a fair statement.
Sports games are basically like whoever's there, because you got to think about it. When live, they stop making live. Live can't come back because 2K's been there, and 2K will continue to be. It's almost you have to be there. They have to be there every year. So if someone else can't step up and say, well, we're here this year,
right?
Because if it's good, they may come back next year, and then Madden won't matter anymore, or something else won't matter anymore.
Yeah, let's say 2K leaves their retail presence, and then Live steps up. People are going to buy Live because they see it on the shelves, and they don't see 2K on the shelves. And that's, I mean, even though 2K is a superior game, most people, even today, aren't internet savvy, don't have the best internet connections. We don't have the infrastructure in this country, alone to warrant everything being digital and being streamed and being downloaded online. So
yeah, PSN can account for that.
So I think that's what's holding us back.
That's a fair statement. That's a very fair statement. Yeah, that's true. I never thought about it from that standpoint. I mean, there's got to be a way. Okay, so here's the thing: you can do it through a thumb drive. You can get it somewhere, right? I mean, that's how it used to be. You used to be able to go get the college rosters for NCAA through thumbstick on PS3. I mean, So there's always be a way. I just feel like the current model they have now is just it's broken. And the other thing I want to see gone is the NFL contract, dude, and all these contracts out on sports games. It's such bullshit.
That's
Madden
the main thing. That's
is terrible. Yeah, dude, 2K would make the baddest football game ever made. And
that's the thing, like you gotta vote with your dollar.
EA's football contract actually has been expired for a while now.
I've heard rumors of that.
They actually came out and dared 2K to make a game. Did you see that on Hip Hop Gamers channel?
No, I missed that. I heard somebody say something about that.
Where one of the EA developers came out and said, come on, make a game, make a football game.
Are you kidding me? Yo, 2K, step up, brother. Where are you at?
I mean, you gotta think about it like this. Like when it comes to it, like that whole buying contract things. Like at the end of the day, it's competition. They buy the contract to make sure that they can make an official licensed football game. That eliminates competition. And I mean, however you look at it, whether it's dirty or not to whoever, it is what it is.
EA can say that. You know why? Because EA has had a contract for almost 10 years now, and they have relationships with NFL, even though they don't own that contract anymore. You think 2K is going to be able to get the access to the players and all that stuff that EA's been getting all this time?
The license, the NFL's blown up so much since then that the license is now like so expensive.
And that was going to say that the license exactly expensive.
But
they really don't need to be exclusive anymore because nobody can afford it.
So man, that's really depressing to me because like I miss the good old days of like, was it 1998 game day? You hit stick somebody and lightning and thunder, and I just miss the competition. And that was back whenever Madden really soared, is because they won the contract by being top dog. They beat everybody out, and now they got complacent, and it's terrible. I hate it. I will not buy a football game until somebody else does one. I'm just not
anybody buying any Ubisoft games this year? That's the movement I hear, that no one's gonna buy Ubisoft games to fight this stuff.
Well, we can't. Nintendo fans, we can't buy them.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of Nintendo, I got a question for Mizzah T. Where's the hashtag Operation Get all these Nintendo cheerleaders to actually go out and buy a Wii U? Where's all the outrage for these people that were cheering the Wii last generation? Where's the outrage that they didn't buy the Wii U?
It's hard for me to, at least in the YouTube community, to put that out there because everybody in the YouTube community, as far as the guys making videos, all have Wii U's. So, I mean, who am I talking to? I don't only get 1,000, hits on my best videos. So I'm only talking to the choir if I make a video like that. So I'm with you. Like there's a lot of guys out there, even in my comment section, who don't have Wii U's, watch all my videos, and they support my video, but they ain't supporting Wii U. So
that's because your videos are awesome.
I mean, if they would have never messed up from the 64, I think Nintendo would probably still be good to this day. But they just
how'd they mess up? How'd they mess up?
They went with first they were already like doing a bunch of developers dirty. Like if you look at the history between Nintendo and Rockstar, God, Jesus Christ. But they kept doing crap no one wanted. Like they were going with cartridges that cost a lot of money to use, and then they couldn't really put games. Like Square Enix straight up said, we wanted Final Fantasy VII was being developed for the 64, but they couldn't put it on there. Right. And they just had to. They didn't say we couldn't put this game on here and we're just going to mess with Sony. They said we cut ties. So, and it had to be something else, some other reason they didn't just say, well, basically fuck Nintendo because we're moving on. And that's what it is. Nintendo does that a lot. They keep things locked down, and it's kind of it works sometimes, but then other times it doesn't.
See, here I actually touched on this a little bit in my GameCube video I did a few months back. And I'm gonna do another video called Nintendo Carries the Cross. I feel like Nintendo carried the cross for the industry, and with that comes harsh relations. Like they had to do a lot of the things that they did because the industry was in shambles. Like there was just shovelware everywhere, and that's what caused the gaming crash. So Nintendo came in with all these strict regulations to make sure that wouldn't happen again. And that's why when the third-party companies got another choice, they got Sega. When Sega became a viable, because they weren't viable during the 6 or 8-bit era, because Nintendo pretty much had everything on lock. When the Genesis came out in '89 and had a 2-year start basically on the Super Nintendo, they became a different option for them. And they were like, well, we ain't got to deal with all these regulations anymore.
Why did Nintendo stop regulating shovelware? Because if you go look on their eShop, it's like 99% shovelware.
There's some garbage on there, no doubt about that.
To be fair, if you look at the Wii's third-party support, even though a lot of that game was, a lot of that stuff was wasn't shovelware, a lot of it was as well. Like,
yeah, of course.
I mean, but the thing is, like, Nintendo, although they make my favorite first-party games, it's like they had it and they lost it on their own terms. Like, it was on because, like, they knew, like, if people don't remember, like, Sony and Nintendo were making a console together that used discs and cartridges, and they knew the industry. Nintendo said we knew the industry was going towards disc-based mediums, and they decided to go with cartridges on the 64.
Right, but they fell out of that deal with Sony because Sony was going to end up owning the games on the PlayStation.
But
as far as
see,
the Nintendo PlayStation go.
That's the thing that was weird because they signed that was the contract they were setting up.
I 100% agree. I don't know what the hell they were thinking at that point. They should have knew. Somebody said no, this is ridiculous after the contract was signed, and it should have said that before. So yeah, I agree 100% with that. That was just a bad move. I'll be the first to say it, and I've said it before that Nintendo has made a lot of stupid decisions as far as what got them here. I think they're trying to turn it around, but they burned so many bridges at this point that they're gonna have to go the extra mile. Are they gonna be willing to do that? And
I
open that can up. You can't close that can back. When you start opening that money hat can up, you can't close it. And that's what they're worried about.
I think the Wii U is one of their best consoles that they've ever made.
Yeah.
The problem is their fake, fraudulent fan base that won't go out and support that company.
Yeah, well, a lot of that is Nintendo's fault. They botched Wii U's launch. They had an identity crisis in the beginning of Wii U.
Well, do you think now this is the thing that's going to be real messed up? Like a lot of people are ignoring. Like I brought it up in a couple of videos. I love the 3DS. It's a great console. But I think that this is, some fuckery going on. They're making so many different limited edition bundles of normal 3DSs and 2DSs this holiday season, and right around the corner next year, or maybe even the end of this year, the new 3DS is coming out in America. I've been in the situation when I was younger, when I remember going to my mom and saying, "Hey, I want a Game Boy Advance." She bought it for me 2 weeks later. Game Boy SP comes out. A lot of people are going to get pissed. And then a lot of people aren't going to know what's the difference between, because it's going to be weird. Hey, I want to buy a new 3DS. Do you mean the new 3DS, or do you mean a new 3DS that's not used? It's confusing.
Yeah, again, that's part of me saying how they botched Wii U. They probably botched it by calling it the Wii U to begin with, because it's confusing to a lot of people that aren't hardcore fans or hardcore gamers like we are.
Are you saying Nintendo fans are that uneducated about gaming that they didn't know the Wii U?
I think the mass market is. That's with any product.
Alright, so to this day, there are people still thinking the Wii U is just a tablet for the Wii. Some people don't even know if it exists, like, at all. Like,
and those aren't Nintendo fans. Those are the casual people that jumped on the Wii.
So why are the Nintendo fans not buying the Wii U?
I can't answer that question. I really can't answer it for you. I wish I could.
I think a lot of them are moving on. Like Nintendo makes great games and all, but like I remember, like, I got a GameCube when I was younger, and I always wanted a PS2. But when I had my GameCube, I enjoyed it. It had good
when you were younger, or when you were a kid?
When I was a kid. My bad.
Okay.
So I'm playing it, and I'm like, I went up and I worked real hard about PlayStation 2, and yeah, I kind of just chucked that thing.
I agree. I agree that Nintendo is for kids.
I'm an old ass kid then.
I mean, you can still enjoy Nintendo games. I still do.
Think
but
about Nintendo's. I mean, I gotta ask this because I got a video coming about this. I'm not bashing Nintendo or nothing, but come on, I mean, okay, PlayStation, yes, only has 2 exclusives this holiday season, but they have a shit ton of third parties. Same thing with the Xbox One. This holiday season for Nintendo, if you don't like Smash Brothers or Bayonetta, what do you got?
Right. That's the. I mean,
you don't see nobody saying nothing about
right, all these popular games that kids are talking about, or anybody's talking about, aren't coming to Wii U. You know, all the games that guys have been playing for years on their Xbox 360s or their PS3s or whatever, those games aren't over here. So you ain't going to entice them dudes over. And the Nintendo hardcore fan base isn't that big. I mean, GameCube only sold 22 million consoles.
Can I say this? I think what hurt Nintendo, and this might sound weird, I just thought of it actually, was Call of Duty. And the reason why I say that is because when I was growing up, we didn't have a game that just everybody played. You either played on, Sega or Nintendo, or some people had both, but that was rare. But then Call of Duty came out, and it was a multi-plat, and all the younger kids, like when we were growing up, we played Sonic and stuff like that, and maybe a Mortal Kombat here and there, but I never remember there being a game like Call of Duty that everybody played, no matter what console you had. And then now that I don't see Call of Duty being a big thing on Nintendo.
And really, Nintendo, like a lot, like one of my friends I was talking to, he bought a Wii U for his son, and his son, he's a kid, and he likes Madden. And I'm like, well, he can't have Madden on the Wii U, and he was just like shocked. He was like, I didn't. He was like, this game is on everything, and like I remember, like people forget. If you remember the DS, every Call of Duty was on the DS.
Right.
From Black Ops to Modern Warfare 3. I think Black Ops 2 didn't go. But every game, Modern Warfare 2, they had some version of Call of Duty on the DS with multiplayer. And it's like Call of Duty's not on the Wii U. So
well, hold on though. Why aren't those games on the 3DS then?
We're on down the 3DS. Are they making any more handheld versions of Call of Duty? The last one they made was on the Vita. That didn't do so well, so I think they just kind of stopped.
They made one on the Vita over the 3DS.
Yeah.
So what does that say?
They
I think that was the deal, though.
They also made one for tablets.
They made one on cell phones and tablets over the 3DS.
Yeah.
We know who owns 3DSs.
You got one.
Yeah, I got one. You got one. But we're like kind of rare for 3DS.
You know what I'm playing right now? It's 60 frames per second, 1080p.
Matt, kids play Madden. Kids play Call of Duty. Let's not pretend that that's a mature game. It says mature on the box.
Really, at this point, kids play everything.
Right, so they'll play Madden or Call of Duty on 3DS if they had it.
But see, I think that's the thing. The Wii U has games for, at this point, older people. It doesn't have games for kids, really.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about that.
I think the 3DS does have a Madden, doesn't it?
It has one Madden.
Yeah, so does Wii U. It has the 13, but that was Madden 12.
What I said though, like none of these games are like. It's not even like is Nintendo gonna pull through without any kind of support? But these like okay, you got the Devil's Third, you got Bayonetta 2, which is a great game. I played the demo, I loved it. But is that going to be enough, like, to run with this console? Like, that's why I don't, like, the other day was the first day I touched my Wii U was with Bayonetta, the demo. I was like, wow, here we go again. I got something to play.
That's an amazing game, isn't it?
I don't hear nobody talking, like, what are the Nintendo fans doing? What are they playing on the Wii U? Like, people that solely own the Wii U right now. What are they playing? Hyrule Warriors. That couldn't last too long.
I think the Wii U will be fine because they've been lasting. They last through the 64. They last through the GameCube.
No, the 64 had games though. I love the 64.
64 had a really small third-party install. It had a smaller one than even the GameCube did. Third-party games.
You had Turok. You had wrestling games. They had all kinds of games for that.
Yeah, they had.
But they had zero RPGs, which were huge in those days.
It don't even have sports games.
Oh, they have Paper Mario.
Out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long the Wii U can necessarily last.
It's gonna last 5 years at least.
Are we 3 years in?
Cycle.
Are we 3 years in? So
we're hitting 2 right now.
Just 2 years? 2 years? Okay, well, 2 years in.
But what I'm getting at, Nintendo fans have to be mad there's no games there. Like Hyrule, okay, before Hyrule Warriors, you had Mario Kart 8, So there was nothing from Mario Kart 8 really to Hyrule Warriors, but some indie games. Like, that's not enough. Come on.
You gotta
I don't understand the mentality of we must be mad. Well, you think we turn the camera off and, wow, I hate Nintendo.
No, I'm talking about, like, solely Wii U owners. Just say you just had a Wii, you'd have to be pissed.
Well, if you're only a Wii U owner, I don't know why you would be pissed, because you know what's going on.
I mean, but that's not necessarily true.
Nintendo pushed that console as a third-party console.
Nintendo fans will just go out and buy Hello Kitty cruisers, and they will praise it.
No, but I'm saying, like,
they will say this is the greatest game ever.
Console, it was supposed to be like the next Super Nintendo. It had third-party, it's better online, more third-party support catered to the hardcore gamer. Now, what if somebody went out and that's all they had was enough money for one console? They got the Wii U, and now they're like, "Damn, what did I buy this for?" If it's not that far.
I think those guys have already sold their Wii U's. If that's what they were feeling. If you went out in 2012, no, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying, if you went out in 2012, and I agree with you. Like like I said, I saw EA on stage, I saw Ubisoft on stage, I saw all these guys in that little reel talking about how great the Wii U was, and so you thought all this stuff was coming. But we're almost 2 years in now, and you've seen the games get canceled and all this stuff, and you've seen the support be pulled back. You've seen 2 E3s without third-party support, basically. At this point, if you ain't sold your Wii U, you ain't got nobody to be mad at but yourself. You can't be mad at...
I'm just saying, I just don't... I see a lot of channels here on YouTube, people talking up, like, I like the Wii U, the games I did play, like Zombie U, Super Mario 3D World, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. I like them games because I grew up on a lot of them type of games. But, like, I see people talking up the Wii U like it's the next thing, best thing since sliced bread. And I was like, damn, what's on it right now that you're playing? Mario Kart still? Like,
yeah, we gonna play Mario Kart for a few years. I don't see, that's the difference between Nintendo fans. We play our games for a long time. That's why the games hold value at retail for so long, because we play our games for a long time. We gonna play Mario Kart, and thanks to this DLC that they're doing, we're gonna play that for a while.
I mean, that's fine. That's
when you see games like The Evil Within, Witcher 3, all these games are rolling out now, and people are like, "Well, I'm gonna play the Mario Kart DLC right now."
Like, that's fine. Like that, I mean, like, cause I had a GameCube. I have Nintendo systems where
I've had every
we played games for a long time. Like when the GameCube. I think I played Melee ever since up to the point I got rid of it, but I had a PlayStation 2 that I played all those games as well.
Right.
Even though they were old. Like, I still play those games today.
Right now.
So, well, the reason they play those games for so long is because they really kind of have to.
Yeah, that's why
I don't have to play my PS1. I still do. I don't have to play my Super Nintendo. I still do. I'm a gamer. I like to play games. It don't matter what era, what decade we're in, what generation we're in. I like to play video games. So,
a person like Dr. Trey, though, he's on there playing. What is he like? If he's so
Dr. Trey has a PlayStation.
He has a PlayStation 3, and I think he has. I don't know if he has an Xbox 360.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He don't talk about the PS3 that he's playing, but he talks like you. If I was just an outside viewer, viewed his channel, I would think this guy's all about the Wii U. I wouldn't even know he liked the PS3. Same thing with Super Brothers and all them.
Well, he's had videos where he's talked about he's like me. I come to YouTube as a Nintendo guy. I mean, that's my shtick. That's a console and the game company I'm most passionate about. So that's why I just want to focus on that. I'll throw in stuff here and there if I really want to talk about it, but. Trey's a little different. Trey, Trey trolls a little bit.
Now, Mizzah T, can I ask you a question about the Operation Platinum? Now, confused about it's a cool movement. Like, I don't understand. Like, the point of it was to show third party that you guys like playing most mature games and third party games, and you go support them, right?
Mm-hmm. I think that was said in the beginning, but that's not why I do it.
But Bayonetta 2 is not a third party game, so that doesn't make sense.
No, it was a mature. It's not about. Third party.
Well, no, I remember people saying
they still won't buy it.
Saying that, and and I came in, like I said, I primarily came in because I heard you guys talking about hardware. You guys it seemed like you guys didn't really know. That's another thing I'm trying to figure out. The Wii U, as far as I can tell, is more powerful than last gen. There's no reason why the Wii U should be running Bayonetta 2 like that.
Like what?
Like with the frame rate all over the place.
Yeah, it runs like shit.
great.
Now, don't get me wrong. That doesn't mean the game is going to be bad or anything, but it doesn't make sense because the hardware is better.
I played the demo. I haven't played the full final build. As far as who's the Digital Foundry, they still haven't said what build they've played or what they were using. Like I don't even understand that the premise of it plays like, you know, ass or whatever. Because at least from my perspective, the demo I played is silky smooth.
No, I'm not saying that it plays like ass. I'm saying the frame rate is all over the place. It like okay. On 360, I played Bayonetta 1. The frame rate was all over the place, but I still enjoyed my experience because it was still a good game, right? But at the same time, the Wii U is more powerful than the 360. Like let's forget about Bayonetta 2.
Looks better than Bayonetta 1.
Well, Bayonetta 1 runs just like how the 360 version ran. You know what I'm saying?
What I'm saying is Bayonetta 2 looks better. So
no, hear me out. The first game runs just like the 360 version. You get what I'm saying? And the Wii U is more powerful. That doesn't make sense.
They didn't optimize it. Okay. They were working on Bayonetta 2.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, but the thing is, I don't get is, and I'm not trying to, you know, pressure or anything, but when I was on my Wii U and I kept hearing a bunch of Nintendo fans saying we will not stand for bad third-party ports or third-party developers giving us unoptimized games and bad ports.
Yeah, Nintendo fans say they boycott lazy developers like that.
Y'all put words. See, y'all.
No, I can show you videos. I didn't say you. I can show you a video of someone saying that, like multiple people.
That's why Nintendo fans didn't buy games like Assassin's Creed.
Hold on.
But when Bayonetta does that,
but what I'm saying,
Operation Tarnished Platinum.
What I say on my video doesn't count for all Nintendo fans, but these guys you're talking about counts for all Nintendo.
No,
fans.
I'm not saying that counts for all Nintendo fans. I said Nintendo fans, not every single last one of them. Like I'm talking about the ones I'm.
Well, you're basing it on the videos you saw. You're not basing anything on videos you see.
But I'm also in Nintendo community. No, I'm not talking about you particularly. I'm in Nintendo communities and stuff, and I see everybody agreeing to this. Yes, we're not supporting this stuff. Well, I'm not saying you said that, but I'm saying I know a lot of people that have, and it just doesn't make.
What Mr. T is saying is that if you're going to take one video and label everybody under that video, then why can't you do that for his video?
And there are other videos.
But I'm still not labeling this. I'm labeling only the people that agree to this movement. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about everybody.
But I'm saying
because I played on the Wii U, and as long as the game runs fine to me, I could care less. Like, but certain people.
Nobody ever says certain Nintendo fans. Everybody just says Nintendo fans. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll apologize. Certain Nintendo fans are saying.
Okay, I can agree with that.
Most Nintendo fans. Let's keep it real.
Most out there, based on the Nintendo fans that he.
I'll apologize. Like even in the Nintendo community I was in, like someone was like, "You're generalizing." I think it was Nia. She said I was generalizing Nintendo fans. I was like, I'm not really generalizing. I was actually just talking about this one person over here, and it's like, oh, okay.
Well, see, here's the thing. It's like if you operate in a certain community, if you're a cop, and your beat is in the black community, and crimes are happening, you're only gonna see black criminals. You know what I'm saying? So you're only gonna see, well, those guys, they're not doing something right over here. You know, but that's the only way you operate. If you operate in other communities, you can see, hey, there's a certain percentage of this fan base that's crazy about this, and you know, every fan base has. But when I come to YouTube, it's these Nintendo fans are the worst.
Oh no, that's not true. Because honestly, like, no offense, like if you talk about the worst fan base, it's really not Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft. It's just the crazy people. I just promise that. Like,
you got people like Furious. I mean, I'm not putting people. I don't even want to put. You got certain YouTubers that give certain Nintendo fans a bad name. Like they just die hard. They believe everything Nintendo does. They defend it to the T. And then you got normal Nintendo fans like you, Mr. T, that actually say something. You know, at times. Like that's the thing. Like a lot of people look at Shokio. Furious Fanboy and all them as like the face of Nintendo for YouTube, you know.
See,
why do these wetards support like Furious Fanboy?
I don't know.
Pyro,
you ain't gonna diss my boy now.
God, I mean, like with me, I judge everybody by whatever I see from them. But a lot of the craziest things I've seen when it came to like Nintendo's fan base is like I've been seeing a lot lately. Nintendo fans saying, I'm only going to play Nintendo games. I'm only going to support Nintendo. And in the same video, I see them playing a third-party game. Like in the clip, they're saying we only play Nintendo games, and I only play Nintendo games. But you're playing like Batman Arkham City on the Wii U. It just blows my mind because that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I can't I can't defend that. I mean, ain't nothing I can say to that. I mean, you won't catch me.
A lot of them are like Dr. Trey, like they're really hyping the Wii U, and then when the camera turns off and they come crawling to their PlayStation daddy.
Yeah, and it's not. You know, like I said, it's every fan base does it. The Xbox fans, we got the crazy people over there. You got the crazy Sony fans. But it's almost like if you were to say to like certain people, like certain Nintendo fans, I said certain this time, they'll just dismiss everything you say. Like you can say, hey, hey, look, you think that third-party games and third-party developers are the fault of why they're not here? Can't we say not only is it Nintendo's fault, it's also their fault at the same time? It's not just.
Dude, I agree with you 100%.
It's both, and then they'll be like, no, it's not both. It's only third-party. It's like that doesn't even make sense. It's a relationship. How can it be one? It's probably both. You know what I'm saying?
I don't even see that as a product of fanboys or fan base, fanboys, or any of that. I see that as a product of the internet. When you come to the internet, you can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. You can be a different person. I'm Mizzah T. So you come to the internet with a certain perspective and a certain agenda even, and that's who you're gonna be when you're on that. When you're on the internet. When you turn it off, you somebody completely different. Like you said, they might turn off their video and then they go play another console and don't tell you about it. But I mean, that's just. I think that is a product of the internet world we live in. Not so much fan base.
All of this goes away if we all push for no parity across all platforms. It's a simple solution. It's not that hard.
Will that work?
Yeah, it'll work.
Yeah.
Think about if we as in the Sony fans can push and fight back against the Assassin's Creed 900p thing, and then that EA game. What's that game? Dragon Age. They come out and say it's going to be 900p on both, and then everybody started to raise hell, and before they could even start raising hell, they corrected themselves and said it'll be 1080p on PS4. Like you can, the more you bitch, the better it's going to get. But if we all, the PlayStation community is a small group, the Xbox is a small group, Nintendo is a small group. If we all come together and say no parity in general, that would really scare the shit out of the industry.
I'm about to break some stuff down now. Mizzah T, like, since you're mainly a Nintendo channel, on my behalf, just as someone that watches you, can you do me a favor? I play Lego games. Please tell these Lego developers to stop sending me the Android version. That'd be nice, but that's just irritating. But what I was gonna say, if you want no parity, if you want no parity at all, well, I'm explaining to you the wormhole you're gonna open up. You can't just say consoles, because then you're going to have to bring in the big daddy. You're going to have to bring in the computer. You're going to have to bring in the PC. So that would mean games would take longer to make.
Right.
That means if they really try to make the games use the hardware they're on, your game that's a multi-plat will probably look nothing like what it looks like on the PC.
Games are going to take longer to make.
No. Because if every version is using the best it can for each version,
because I remember
what's going to happen when they make because you look at 2K, right? See how 2K looks, basketball. That could have been done a long time ago on the PC.
Yeah, but I remember PC games used to get released way later than console games because of the optimization and stuff. They could still do that.
Right.
Yeah, that's very much true. But what happens when the PC so happens to be the leading platform for a game? Then you're going to have to wait a long time. No, that does happen. That would be like Witcher. The Witcher is an example. The Witcher, you're going to get a long time process before the game comes out, and then you guys are going to see you probably won't care, which you really shouldn't. If you don't like a computer, you don't like a computer. But you're going to start seeing everything pretty much look better over here. Then everything is going to look a little bit better on the 4. The 1 is going to look okay.
Most games that are
will the Wii U have the game? We don't know. It's going to be hard, and it's going to be a lot of stuff.
But that's okay. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
So you guys want it to be like that? Fight for it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Assassin's Creed's going to be the first Assassin's Creed game that I skipped. I'm not getting it, and I may even cancel Far Cry.
You skipping Unity? Why are you skipping Unity? Because
of the parity.
Oh.
And then you got to look at it like this, what look at Far Cry, right? If you look at Far Cry 3 at E3 and when they were playing it, not just a clip, when they first showed off Far Cry 3 for PC, Far Cry 3 could not run like that on consoles. So Far Cry 3 got dumbed down on PC and consoles, but Far Cry 3 used to look like Far Cry 4, and Far Cry 4 now looks like Far Cry 3 used to look like. You know what I'm saying?
You got to be a smart. That's where you can't deceive your customers. If you're going to go to E3 and you're speaking to the console crowd, right? Don't show PC footage.
No, they weren't speaking. They were speaking to the PC gamer, saying this is PC footage, and they were playing on the PC. But because they were trying to please everybody, they dumbed the game down. Even though it still looks great, they dumbed it down for consoles.
Why are they doing this now? Because they haven't done this before.
What do you mean doing what now?
I don't want to say bullshitting because these games are what were you talking about parity as far as the PC version, as far as I used to PC game up until mid 2006. That's when I kind of stopped PC.
A long time. Like you guys, like they even talked about it with Crysis. Like they said their plan with Crysis 2 is to be open world like Crysis 1, but they couldn't do it on the console.
No, but what I'm saying is I used to play on PC back. I stopped around 2006, 2007 is when I kind of quit PC. That's when I jumped on Mac, but it's a whole other story. Anyway, the games have always been better looking on the PC. So why is that problem now? Like I don't like as far as Nintendo fans go, we know especially on Wii U, it ain't gonna look as good as the PS4 and Xbox One. We just want the features. Give us the.
But you said why did they look better on what's different now? Like why?
Yeah, because PCs always look better. That's nothing new.
Well, no. I'm not saying looking better because you'll get that now. They really use the hardware to its full potential. Like back when 2K basketball was out on Xbox 360 and stuff like that, 2K back then would have looked like 2K now on PC, but 2K would still look like 2K did on the 360. If they really want to utilize the hardware, you know what I'm saying?
Right. One of my friends.
And that would have just been a decimating gap between the two.
One of my friends is a developer for mobile apps and stuff like that. He's telling me that he just messaged me saying that parity is relatively new. It has not always been around. It's something new that they're doing.
No, I'm not saying parity. I'm talking about the whole not using the system's capabilities.
Right. So the point is that it should always be that way. It should always be certain things are going to have certain things better. That's just the way it should be. I mean, the PC is always going to be the place to be. I mean, what PC doesn't have though is they don't have the developers that know how to optimize for everybody, because not everybody has the high-end PCs. You don't have the Naughty Dog that puts all their effort into one console that can fully optimize everybody's console.
That's
right?
the
So
thing. The install base is very segregated because the PC.
Right. So that's the downfall. Right. That's the downfall of PCs. So you're going to have some benefits of PC and some not. I mean, that's the way it should be. Parity needs to be gone. It just needs to go away. Period. You need to. I mean, I'm not saying that you need to fully max out the game on every game you make, because that costs too much. I get that. You got to make money. So not every game has to be taken to the full extent of how badass the console is or whatever. It doesn't have to be that way. I'm not saying every game needs to be amazing, like a Last of Us amazing, but you don't need to scale other things back, scale everything back just to please one. That's stupid.
We kind of know what the parity is for. I mean, it's not for the Wii U. They're not dumbing down games for the Wii U. It's for the weaker Xbox One.
Ooh.
But is that? I mean, okay, fair. I mean, I guess. I mean, maybe on the visuals, but the Xbox One also has some features that they're not they're not utilizing.
But I don't even understand that.
You gotta look at everything of the industry, because think about the whole thing with Metal Gear. Like, do you guys really think Metal Gear can only go to 720p on the Xbox One? Like, really? Like, because you gotta think about it. Yoshida has a really good relationship with Sony.
Right.
Like, why wouldn't he's not gonna really try to get the Xbox One version to its fullest potential. He doesn't care.
Yeah, I don't understand it, because PS4 is clearly the market leader as far as current gen systems go. Why would you go for the third place? Why would you try to appease the guy in third place? That's what
why don't you appease the guy in second place?
Because they buy games too.
They do, but this is we had an era called the the 6th gen, where the PS2 was clearly the market leader, and they had you had the Xbox, and then you had a GameCube. GameCube and Xbox were more powerful, but
They didn't really utilize the power of well, the Xbox they did like with Xbox exclusive games but they really didn't with every third party game, even though they could utilize the power of those systems because the PS2 was the leader. They just said, F it.
So that's basically the situation you're saying we're in now, because
Basically.
again, the market leader is the PS4.
Right.
So why?
If someone like honestly, I think money is being dealt. If no money is being given, if Microsoft doesn't say, hey, make this thing even, then they'll just do that with the 4. They'll just make the 4 better and then keep it moving. But other than that, if something happens like money comes involved, like
I think it's the money thing.
It could be very much because it wouldn't make sense not to.
Well, the money doesn't necessarily have to come from Microsoft's hand either, because you got to understand optimizing takes money. It's man hours. So by going for parity, you're saving man hours. So there's money saved there. It doesn't necessarily have to come from Microsoft's hand, right?
That's very much true too. But see, what if they do come out and just say that? What if they say like, all right, we can't afford to push?
That's fine. Then say that.
But see, can they? But all right, now what if it's the hardware? Can they really come out and just say, "Hey, we can't go any further"? I don't think they can say that because then they'll probably.
Yeah, they can. They can say no. They can say that because, and then the argument will be, well, when Naughty Dog comes out with their game and blows that game away, well, okay, they also have it's talent. It's different levels of talent too. So I mean. I'm okay with that. If it's truly the hardware restricting them, then so be it. But the problem, that's what they said. The problem is you look at Watch Dogs, and then you compare that to Shadow of Mordor, and you're like, not even. I mean, come on. That's what I'm.
Great.
I think King Grimpachi is a little bit right on what he's saying because what was my point going to be? If you look at like what was I gonna say? Like the PC, I think the market we're in now is a little bit shaky. Like I think the console guys, the console companies, especially Xbox and PS4, are a little worried as far as not having that edge graphically, because a lot of people today would commit to getting a PC or getting into that market. And if you look at least right now. There's not a lot of big first-party games coming out of Xbox One or PS4 that would say, "Well, I'm definitely getting my PS4 on, my Xbox One on." A lot of the big sales are coming from the third-party games, and those games are also on PC. So there could be a worry in the market that, oh man, if we let PC get such a big edge on us, they won't even buy our console because they can just get it all on their PCs or whatever. So
I just remember days. Whole entire days of fixing crap on my PC just so I can run a game.
Right. That's why I stopped.
I mean, I don't. Maybe because you guys did it back in the day, I don't experience that stuff when I run games. But like,
not usually.
Yeah. To explain, like, one of my things is like, the PC market and the PC community is like very different too. Like, when Rockstar came out recently and said we actually remember with GTA 5 they said we have no plans of a PC version. And we have no plans of a next-gen version. But they've been working on the PC version ever since the 360 and PS3 version. So that version's been being worked on this whole time. They stopped working on it or whatever, slowed it down to make the next-gen version, and it's still coming out later compared to the next-gen version. No one's complaining on PC because PC gamers have the mentality of, we're going to have the better version anyway. We can wait for that. You know what I'm saying? We can wait to get that better version. Whether that be right or wrong, it's still BS, because if you've been working on this version with that, but it makes sense too. If you think of it in a market sense, why would you release a superior version compared to the PS3 and 360 version, and people may not buy it on the console? We don't know, so we just hold off.
What does it matter if it's still money in their pocket? What does it matter?
Because you gotta think about it. What if you put out copies of a game that no one buys? Then they wasted their time. It was basically like, why did I make it for this system? Yeah, I wasted my time.
I think you're overestimating how many people have PCs. I mean, a lot of people don't game on PC for the same reasons I don't.
But a lot of people game. I think the PC market is bigger, actually.
Really?
I believe it is. Now
That's kind of a misconception because you'll have like 100 million Steam users, but I remember for years I was a registered Steam user.
That's very much
only had like one little Flash game from Steam or something.
Yeah, people
There's
like
nuances in there for sure.
Yeah, that's very much true too. But see, they don't know. No one really knows how many are on this. Like, look at the Wii U. The Wii U is what, 7 million? But then you look at like the sales of a game, and it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and then you got to consider all the people pirating games too. So there's that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, PC is a different beast because it's like it's even hard to track sales because a lot of the guys that track the sales don't even consider like digital sales. And so when I go to like, let's say I go to what's the site, VG Charts, and I look at a game sales on PC, it's gonna be way lower than the console version or the console version as far as the sales go. And I know those aren't accurate, but they're somewhat accurate.
Yeah.
So
a lot of PC games actually still come out are physical, so you don't know. So
it's just hard to tell as far as
I
PC goes. I think that's the reason that you don't these companies the market is the way it is because they just don't know what the PC is. PC is not a solid bet as far as everything goes.
Is that why they're pushing those Steam boxes so hard? Because it'll be easier to track? Is that what you think? That's why?
I think that's part of it. Yeah. I think that is.
I mean, I don't think so because the Steam box would use Steam, and then I think some Steam boxes have Windows. So if it has Windows on it, that means you can go and buy games anywhere. Like, it's a computer at the end of the day. So
it's kind of a Trojan horse computer, though. It's a way to get console guys more comfortable,
Right, like people like me.
Right.
Every year they come out with some sort of Steam box or Alienware X51, and it never sells well.
Well, a lot of reasons for that is the pricing. You can't compare to console prices, then it's going to be hard to get a
right now,
console
they
guy.
have a Steam box out right now, and see, the thing is that the PC gamers will tell you not to buy. Like, I'll tell you not to buy one because you can buy a Steam box for like the same price of an Xbox One when it had to connect with it, like $500. And I'm like, I look at those parts and I'm like, you could build a computer that's better than that for the same amount of money. So I wouldn't even recommend you buy it. So I don't think those things will take off. Like, it's only going to take off for people who don't want to buy it or don't want to build a computer or don't want to take that risk.
Right.
It's hard for people to make a leap too. They get tied to their systems, as we all know.
Right. I mean, but I do see a lot of people that I know, like personally, and people I've met on the internet, like that are console people are like saying, I'm getting tired of guessing on what frame rate resolution I'm gonna get, so I'm just gonna get a computer. And I don't know. Like, I told them, hey, it's no 100% there either. I mean, it's more of a chance, but it's no 100% anywhere. Like, I just bought Final Fantasy 13 on PC. There are no PC settings or options at all.
That's messed up, man. That's messed
They just
up.
made a mod, like someone just modded it so you can make it 1080p, and even though that was quick, it's like, why didn't Square Enix do it? So
there's games on PC where it just says like settings 1080p, 720p, and that's like all the settings you get.
Yep. But with Final Fantasy, the only settings you got is windowed, full screen. That's it. Nothing else.
Wow. Well, graphics don't matter, so.
Did we get our debate down or whatever we had going on here?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm gonna end the podcast because it went pretty long.
Yep, I gotta get on that shitty Drive Club.
I appreciate everybody for joining. King Grimpachi, is that your name, buddy?
Yeah.
I gotta check your chat. See, I got so many new subs, and so every time somebody subs to me, I try to sub back to them. I got a lot of people to check out. Your channel's one of them. I appreciate you joining tonight. I want you to come back the next time for sure. Mr. T, David, Wolflow, Arcel, and Video Game Lover, he left. I think Mr. T just gave me a message, I'll be back. I don't know if that's an older one or a newer one. But I'm just going to go off air right now. I appreciate everybody joining. Thank you, all the viewers, and until next time.